Alrighty, is there? All right. Do you have a rubber band or something? I should do. There we go. That's not rattling anymore. Hey Jack, could I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, 51, he, him.
Do you disagree with the background?
Well, I'm disagreeing with where the community is advocating for, I guess, kind of. So I don't know. It depends on exactly where you stand with it.
I generally just as long as they're not doing like things against like medical advice, I generally would just support trans people. I think that's the clearly what
So,
seems to be the best thing to do, and there's good reasons not to do anything other than that, I would say.
so let's just so we're clear. Somebody that is trans would be somebody that has an incongruence between their sex and gender. That's what we're going to define somebody that is trans then to be.
Yeah, I would generally hold that if that they generally also are going to be consistent and insistent about this.
Right. No,
There's reasons why I would say that too, because it's otherwise you get into issues where you like, oh, this person is just claiming that they're trans, but they might not actually
well,
be.
I'll say this. I'll go ahead and because we're gonna. I'm gonna skip the whole radical opposition that you normally get, because we're not going to disagree there. Where we're going to start to disagree is I don't have to understand it. I don't have to even agree with it, but there's no reason for me not to respect it, and there's no reason why somebody else can't do what they feel is necessary if it's not affecting somebody else. We agree with that.
Yeah,
Where I'm starting to misunderstand or just not even grasp what is going on is when, we can agree in the last 10 years we've seen this awareness being raised about this. We've seen society accepting this more widely. This is becoming more of a, you see more people, the percentage of trans people in the population is actually increasing because people feel more comfortable with themselves. We've seen all this. And we've seen really in the last 10 years the LGBTQ really advocating and make this an actual thing that people understand is real, and that gender affirming care is thus the solution to somebody that's suffering in that way. But then you see the community also now use, for example, one of the most recent things would be the military eligibility, as if they're being segregated against because of ineligibility for the military. But then just 5 years ago, this was being advocated that people were, the self unalivement rates were through the roof, and people were physically unwell and mentally unwell because of, not mental, a medical condition at that. And I don't say medical condition to say somebody's mentally insane. I mean it just to be that you have something going on medically that requires treatment, thus gender affirming care to solve it. There's many medical conditions that would deem someone ineligible for the military. So why is it being pushed by the community that this is, you know, more of a segregation towards a group of people rather than actually the country acknowledging that this is a medical condition and we treat it as such?
so at least when it comes down to military enlistment, I do think that there's very good reasons why you shouldn't let people who have done who are on like HRT join and stuff, because they need consistent hormones in order for them to be fine, and that's not always something that at least especially if you're going to do something such as frontline service. Um, like that's something that you really can't have. Can't be on like certain medications because they're they're just something that you need in order to function. Um, there's a lot of I would say that being trans in itself shouldn't be exclusionary to being in the military. And there are just simply lots of reasons why somebody would be ineligible. Like I don't think I would be eligible for military service,
Sure.
um, just simply due to my autism and ADHD and requirement for meds. Um,
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I want to make sure you're done, Keaton, before I add on.
Do what?
I want to make sure the host is done before I add on.
yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So you also talk about like segregation, and so then we can kind of step back from the military a bit because I do agree with Stowe. If somebody needs medication on a regular basis, that is going to limit what they are capable of being able to accomplish in the military. And he also mentioned that not every trans person needs that. Some trans people just need to have the correct pronouns, correct name, and clothes and haircut. And that shouldn't make it so that we can't be part of the military specifically. But getting back to like this segregation thing that you're talking about, we also want to talk about like this legal erasure that trans people are going through right now. So like I mean, last year there were over 500 anti-trans bills that were put into legislation across this country. It depends on the state as to what exactly they are, but some of them are federal as well.
But
Limiting,
anti-trans bill could be a subjective thing. So for somebody to consider something to be people consider it military ineligibility to be an anti-trans bill. I don't. So saying that there's
okay,
500 is subjective.
so I'm even if we weren't talking about the military ones, there would still be hundreds upon hundreds because what else we're talking about in those cases is healthcare, which a lot of trans people are no longer able to access healthcare that we need. And then the other one, just please let me finish here, Jack. The other thing we can really talk about too is the spaces that we're allowed into. So like a woman being in a woman's space, whether they're a trans woman or a cis woman, shouldn't like be the problem, but trans people are being legislated against in this way. So yeah, we are being segregated out of spaces we belong into and pushed out of these spaces. And we want to just be able to participate without there being like an issue or difference, unless
Sure.
obviously it applies to the entire population, like you can't be on medication if you're going to be in the military, things like that.
Yeah, I'd love to respond to that. So it does apply. Well, I'll say this about the last thing you said before I go on, because this first part's pretty quick. It's there's not a flat line thing, but people that exceed a certain body fat percentage are exempt. People that are diabetic are exempt in some cases. Really, there's a lot of medical conditions we could never name them off, and that's the that is what it is, and so that there isn't. It's not. It's to do with medical conditions on military ineligibility is what that is, and even visible tattoos in some cases. But that's neither here nor there. In terms of the restrooms and things like that, you're talking about it being an anti-trans bill, and that's kind of what I was getting at is considering something to be anti-trans, and that is a subjective opinion because somebody saying that they don't want trans people to be in restrooms of gender rather than sex at that point.
Public restrooms, to be clear,
Well,
public.
public restrooms are separated upon gender, and that's the biggest thing. Is society and vocabulary develops, with each other. So what we once called men and women, rather we viewed. I mean, can we agree that in today's society we're moving away from this? But sex and gender at one point in time were viewed synonymously.
I mean, it depends on what you're talking about.
Well,
Because
yes,
even
not
like even in
everybody, not everybody, and I'm not saying that everybody viewed it that way. I'm saying that as a society, when we said men, we're referring to cis men, and when we said women, we're referring to what we call now cis women. We're not referring to the social construct. I mean, that's what we call that, but that's not. When we say men's restroom, we're thinking male restroom. We're not thinking. But now that we see vocabulary in society is changing, the people that are arguing, the people that are trans in restrooms that aligns with their gender, not their sex, maybe not wording it the right way. They're not arguing that they don't want trans people to have the same capability. It's that, and there's some radical oppositions that would, but there's that with every case. But it's rather they view the restrooms separation is merely based upon sex and not gender, and that's more important. And I think that we're seeing vocabulary develop with society. I mean, words today mean something totally different than what they meant 50 years ago. And so I think that everybody's
Okay.
vocabulary is not on the same level here.
I hear what you're saying. I am going to answer the question that you asked and then cut me off while I was trying to answer it. Um, if we're talking about scientific understanding, which not all of the population is socially going to have, it's been about a century or give or take of science recognizing that gender and sex are different. It's been about 30 years of us having the terms transgender and gender or and cisgender, which, by the way, were coined by a cis woman, not a trans person. And also, like, anyone who just like has, even if they're ignorant, even in like, let's say 50 years ago, which was what, the 80s, um, these people would not know if a trans person was going into the restroom or not. They didn't care because it wasn't an issue that was politicized for our fascist regime in the US to become a thing. But so it wasn't politicized. Therefore, they didn't even really know or even care if trans people existed. So trans women that presented as women used the women's restrooms, and nobody was worried or scared or concerned. And same for trans men. Trans men that were comfortable using the men's restroom and felt as though, even though I don't like passability politics, felt as though they passed and that they'd be safe in that space. Men had no problem with it in this time period because they didn't even know it was happening. So socially, on that side of things, I would say it was not a big deal until, and it wasn't even seen as like sex based, like male and female restrooms, if you will, until very recently, until we were politicized, so that the right had some like big scary bad guy that they could fight and use as like a political issue.
So hold on,
I
can I ask this? Like, I get where you're coming from, and I think we're coming from the same understanding on that. Let me ask this question. Maybe we can understand one another maybe a little better. Do you view there to be a difference between a trans woman and a cis woman? When somebody says woman and they're referring to a cis woman, do you recognize there to be a difference between that and a trans woman?
Well, let's just take the word woman out of it because it's not relevant for your question, right? So, do I think that cisgender people and transgender people are the same and experience the same things? No, I don't. The
No, it just
descriptor's there for a reason. So it doesn't matter if it's men or women or whatever. The descriptor is there for a reason. We use it when it's relevant. But if you're asking, are trans women women? Yes, they are.
more what I was asking was rather, do we recognize there to be a difference that a trans woman is a male and a cis woman is a female?
Yeah, another way to describe a trans woman is as a male woman because that's what they are.
So what I'm saying is there's people that view the restrooms as a male's restroom. I know that's not what it says, but you're talking about 30 years ago, we're starting to see this acceptance. 50 years ago, it wasn't. And that's when we labeled the restrooms man and woman, I guess. I don't know where we're confused there.
Well, you don't seem to be understanding my point. I'm saying it was socially acceptable 50 years ago. I'm saying that 30 years ago, even, it was socially acceptable because nobody really gave a shit. No pun intended. It's only as of these last about 10 years that we've been highly politicized that people have cared and that people have said, oh no, we actually mean male when we say man. And we actually mean female when we say woman when we're talking about restrooms. And you shouldn't be in there unless you align with the sex and not the gender. We didn't care until it was politicized. 50 years ago and 30 years ago, nobody really gave a shit. Also, if you aren't aware, when you're not on the app, we can't hear you. Oh, he ran.
He might have just disconnected, to be fair.
That too, but like, I don't even think exactly, Manda. I don't think he even understood my point that socially, like, nobody gave a shit until we were highly politicized. Also, what was his name? I don't remember, but if you're back, you can always join back up if it just disconnected.
I did send them an invite to
Okay.
rejoin. Um, yeah, it could be the case that like they just sometimes if you're in like power saving mode, if you're not actively on the app, sometimes it just kills things. I doubt that's the case, but it is possible that something like that happened too.
Mm-hmm. I need to check a thing. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. I have returned, kind of, sort of.
Welcome
I have
back.
to run inside real quick and fix some stuff before. Oh, I threw up again this morning, but I'm okay, and I didn't step in my puke, so that's good.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Hmm.
Hopefully you start feeling better.
Yeah, I mean, I had something stuck in my throat for several days, and it's finally gone, so it's not bothering me so much anymore, but that was causing me to throw up a lot. Um, and it's not as bad anymore. Squeaky door.
Yeah, so I can be live for I have to go at like 2, so at most like 3.5 hours or something like that. So we'll see how long we go here. What did how on earth is saying that most households have a gender neutral bathroom at like handicapped? Like what? Huh? I'm so confused.
Yeah, that's ableist. That's I mean, we all have gender neutral bathrooms. That's just the truth. But most home bathrooms are not equipped for disabled folks.
Yeah, I mean to some extent. I mean, unless it really depends on the bathroom more, but a lot of them don't have like hand railings and stuff for people who need them and other things like that. Oh, they're calling you? Where on earth are they?
I'm just gonna. I think the dude with the orange PFP was saying that being gender neutral bathrooms in homes is the most handicapped thing they've read all day, and I'm just gonna mute them because that's just a line of ableism I don't want to walk.
Uh, but yeah, yeah, no idea what happened to them. They seem to have disappeared. Let me check to see if I need to get better about checking my TikTok DMs. Like,
Yeah, also, mod break real quick. If you like these conversations, even if you're opposition, um, we want to be able to keep having them. So if you like the live, if you share the live, if you help us meet our rose goal, all those things are going to help push the live out and make sure that we can get someone to talk to up in here. So yeah.
how on earth is a trans
If you
woman a man? Like, how is
exactly,
a woman a
and
man? This is just actually confusing. I think we
if you
should go
think
down
that
that.
trans women are men, then you do not support trans people. That's just, I'm sorry, that's just a contradiction that you can't like make work out.
Yeah, it's like a misunderstanding of like the trans inclusive position. To say that women are men. Also, that's just like a complete blunder of
Hmm.
understanding of, because like,
I have returned.
welcome back,
Oh
Snake.
yes, yes. Welcome back to the person who's saying I support them, but trans women are women. But I support them because you have to say it again to prove you support them. You got to just
I
keep saying it, I guess.
I support them, but I validate them at the most base level.
If you think that
No,
trans women are men, then you do think. If you think that trans women are men, then you don't think that trans women exist.
holy,
Like, I don't think you get it.
the audio quality jump.
Yeah, oops, my earbud died, but y'all can probably hear me better now.
Yeah, we do have a request from Pappy Brittler. That name doesn't ring well.
What name? Oh, no, not. Oh, it's Pappy Brittler. I know who this is. Damn.
Is this a good or
Hello,
bad thing?
everyone.
No, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I've seen this guy's lives probably like 15, 20 times by now.
Got it.
Damn, you're practically a fan at that point.
Not even a fan, it just comes across my For You page while I'm scrolling, and sometimes I just stop because I see my friends on your panel. I just see some interesting arguments being made.
Since
Yeah.
the other two of us here, Poppy, since the other two of us here don't know who you are, can we get your age and pronouns for TikTok, please?
Me, him, I'm 32. I'm going to be 33 in a week. Oh, damn. But yeah, that's me.
The realization has dawned on you.
Oh,
And what are your pronouns?
He said he, him.
Okay, sorry, I missed it. Thanks.
Oh,
Yeah,
I got it.
I said it in the wrong order, but yeah.
Do you disagree with the prompt, or?
Yes. Well, do I I mean, the prompt is just asking me. Well, you haven't asked me a question because it's a dot. It's a full stop instead of a question. But tell you why you shouldn't. I guess I'm not really here to tell you why you shouldn't. If you want me to be pedantic, but if you want to actually have a discussion about it, I can say within the trans shizzle, I think that the spaces of woman and man should basically be sex segregated. They should be male and female. There should be no ifs, buts, and maybes. Whether you identify as something else, that's no concern of mine. If you want to do what you do in your private time, but once it affects the public, then yes.
Well, why couldn't I just hold the position that it should be segregated based off of gender identity, and that if you want to otherwise, you can just do it in your own time. It's just a complete reversal of your point.
If you don't want to use the bathroom, Poppy, with a trans man, then use the bathroom before you leave the house.
Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, one person at a time. So yes, you could clearly, obviously. I mean, you can hold any view, but mine. Put it this way. At least mine is much simpler. Mine will just be male and female. Obviously, you've got the disabled and the family ones, but that's just obvious. But with your one, if you're one of those people that believe there are about 70 odd genders, then you're not going to have a specific loo or anything for 70 odd genders now, are you?
Well, I think that like.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you get what I mean? I'm not trying to like catch you out and say got him, but like if the gender identity spectrum is that wide, then you have to cater to them all. You can't say, oh well, these 5 genders are valid, but these 65 ones are not.
I mean, I would say like in an ideal world, like we would have like individual spaces for everybody if they want them. Like I think that's just like, I mean, that'd be like idealistic. I think it's unrealistic in some senses that we don't live in that world. But like I do think that especially in a society where we have this like at least seeming choice between the two. We should let individuals choose, just due to the reducing segmentation and the just general better off people are when they have the ability to choose.
Yeah, and um, I, if you would accept my answer as a non-binary person, I really appreciate it. Um, the whole concept of like having a million bathrooms for a million genders, I think, is obviously not um obviously not achievable or workable. But what is achievable and workable and has been proven to actually have lower grape and SA rates in bathrooms in other countries where they've implemented this is actually gender neutral restrooms where everybody doesn't matter. It's just a human bathroom. You go in, it has stalls that are floor to ceiling, no gaps in the doors. So you can't see anyone else when they're in a stall. And then because of the increased accountability of a lot of people being there when people are out in the main area washing their hands, less harm actually occurs. So gender neutral bathrooms would be my fix for that. We don't need to cater to any gender. We just need to have a bathroom where everybody can go.
That was a tad long-winded for me. All I was saying is as soon as you say that yes, that your gender, your gender identity is valid, and then you go ahead and say, oh yeah, they should be gender based, and every gender you consider a gender needs to have their own space.
Gender neutral. I'm just saying. I just explained, but apparently I'm long-winded.
No, I know that. And in the UK, in the UK, we actually have third spaces in nearly everywhere you go. And if it's like a local cafe, or I don't know why I said local for, an independent cafe, so not a big chain, a Costa or anything, then they usually do only have that, right? They actually usually only have one toilet, which is also a disabled one. So it's technically, if you want to get all, pedantic on it, it actually is a disabled toilet. So it's free for everyone to use, right? Kids, males, females, disabled, non-binary, whatever. So that isn't too much of an issue when it comes to that, but it is when it comes to the big places, right? Like your a restaurant, or a supermarket, or a club. Club is probably one of the most important because everyone's got alcohol within them, so they're more likely to be a bit more boisterous, so we say. And the easiest, actually, to be fair, I'm going to stop there because I called you up on being long-winded, and now I'm being long-winded, so I won't be a hypocrite. Go on.
I don't know if host wants to respond or if we want to give Solid a second to add as well. But yeah.
No, it's chill. I was just lagging at one point, so I missed the first half of it, but I know what it's about.
Bloody TikTok.
Yeah, we're just talking about.
It froze on me for about 15 seconds. So I was like, oh.
I think it might be a you thing because your audio's a bit.
Yeah, it was a me thing. Don't worry, I know that.
Okay.
Morning, Palm.
So yeah. So I do get what you're saying. Gender neutral bathrooms. I've had to use one about half a dozen times, so not that much. I used to work within a uni, and they only had a gender neutral one. They just had one bathroom with two sinks. You all used, well, hopefully you used. And I think they had one disabled one and maybe like four in a row on the other side, like 4 cubicles. But they weren't the ones that you were saying where there's no sorry, how do I word this? There's like the one in changing rooms, in locker rooms, where they do have a top and they do have a bottom, yeah?
You mean like the floor to ceiling stuff?
Yeah, not them. Yeah, not them. Just a normal cubicle, not them. So they had those 4, and they had the disabled one.
Just a cubicle door.
Yeah. So just 4 cubicles. Yeah. So that's what they had. So what I'm trying to get at is that even as a 30-ish year old man, when I came out and I first used that, even every time afterwards, but especially the first time when I came out and I saw two girls next to me who looked about 19, 18, even I felt uncomfortable, right? People bang on about comfortability. Even I felt uncomfortable going there. So what would you say to someone like me if I came out and I had a bit of a whinge and a moan to you and you're a friend of mine? There's nowhere else to go unless I go and piss down the road. Like I'm not even trying to be derogative. Like what else can I do?
I mean, you mentioned people going on about comfortability. That's usually GCs and cis people that go on about comfortability, and trans folks typically go on about safety. So that sounds that gender neutral space sounds like a safe place to be going to the restroom. And if you're uncomfortable with it, you can either go to the restroom before you leave your house and not use public restrooms, or sorry, Solid, you're too distracting. Or you can get used to it and be okay with it. I think that gender neutral bathrooms are a great solution. So yeah, I'm not saying they're going to be comfortable off the bat. I'm just saying you get used to these things, and people are safer because of it.
Okay, I think that we both interacted with opposite people then, because I usually find it the other way around. So where I'm coming from is not really that's the reason why I said it in the first place. It's not because I felt like a huge way about it. I didn't come out of there like fearing for my life or anything like that. So yeah, I don't come in from that. I was saying comfortability because that's where usually I hear people on the TRA side come from. So me and you we're on way different wavelengths there. But yeah, I do come at from a privacy and a safety standpoint. And no, a trans woman shouldn't be in the woman's spaces. Period. No pun intended.
That's incorrect. That's not safe. If you care about safety, then you would be advocating for trans women to be in the women's restrooms.
Hold on, I wasn't stating a fact. So it's not. I'm being incorrect.
If you care about trans people's safety, if you care about anybody's safety, then you would not want trans women to use the men's restroom. You would want them in the women's restroom.
No, I care more about.
Then you don't understand science and statistics, because we have a lot of evidence that shows that trans people are safest when they use the restroom that aligns with their gender identity.
Right. Hold on. Yeah, wait. Feel safest. So you're on about comfortability.
I don't care about comfortability. I care about safety.
We do care about comfortability to some extent, but safety's more important.
Safety is top priority for trans people. We want everyone to be safe, not just us. But we want to be safe too.
Yes, but yes. As when I first came up, I said they're in my eyes they are sex. When you said sex, bloody hell, I sound like a 5-year-old. Sex segregated spaces, right? If you're a male, you go in the male. Female, you go in the female. I know a lot of people like to tokenize the intersex community. I think that's not on at all. We can have a discussion on what we believe is male and female with man. Maybe that's going to be more productive, because otherwise we're just going to be fighting against each other. If you're saying, I care about the safety of trans, and I say, well, I care about
trans people. We are people, first and foremost.
Say that again?
We are people, trans people.
Oh, yeah, of course. Everybody's a human first. Yeah. Everyone has standard, basic...
The reason I said that is because you just called people just simply trans.
Yeah, sure. Trans people, yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
Okay.
And it sounds like you think that bathrooms are sex segregated when they're actually and always have been gender segregated. I don't get it.
That's okay. How is that so? And how long are we talking? Are we talking back in the Romans' time? Did they think there was like genders within the double digits, or are we really going to go that route?
Okay.
So I would say that I would just reject that. We have we ought to care about sex segregation, but there are like statistical reasons why we should care about at least at the very, very least, looking into what can be done to reduce these rates of SA among transgender individuals when they are restricted. It's very clear we have substantial. Well, yeah, but
That's, you know what,
trans
that's,
people
wait,
are
wait,
a
no,
unique
that's
risk.
the point. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I was just saying that's precisely the point, right? Most of the crimes committed are violent crimes. I mean, or maybe all crimes actually, but violent crimes are, pardon me, men, correct?
Yeah, but transgender individuals
Well,
are more likely to be victims than
No, I know. Wait.
perpetrators.
Just stick with me for a little bit.
Are you about to say that males are men, therefore trans
Yes,
women being
yeah.
males
Adult
are
human female,
perpetrators?
adult human male, I consider to be a man, and that's so. Yes.
So you think that trans women are a part of these statistics? They're joined in with men, and it's just males. The statistics don't look at gender; they solely look at sex.
They are no. Okay, no. I mean, yes, that was it. But you were going to jump down my throat straight after, so let me finish up my point. Yes, that. There you go. You can have that win or whatever you thought it was. With that, I'm saying, what is the safest way to protect women, to protect females? The safest way to protect them is to not allow any males in there whatsoever.
You're just conflating sex and gender. You don't know the difference. You don't care about the difference, it seems. I mean, we could teach you, but are you willing to learn?
No, but you're okay. Put it this way: what is this my mic that's playing up or someone else's?
It's probably me echoing.
Cole,
Sorry.
yeah, you're echoing like crazy, Cole. So if you can mute when you're not speaking,
It's always Cole.
I was like,
It's always you, Cole. Always.
damn it, Cole. Not gonna lie, I forgot the question. What was the question again? Oh, not knowing the difference. Yeah. Well, I would say that if so, all of this is it can be chalked down to what we think a male and a man and a woman is, right? I've already stated. I stated at the beginning that it should be sex segregated. I know I said that for the third time. I need to make that very clear. And now I've added on adult human female woman, adult human male man. So it's absolutely fine for you to sit there or stand there or lie down, whatever position you're in right now, to say, you know what, Pappy, you don't know the difference between gender and sex. You're uneducated, blah blah blah. But it's not going to go anywhere because this is the view that I hold. So I don't know if it's going to be you trying to give me some lecture.
Are you willing to learn something new?
You can tell me what knowledge you have. I'm not saying I'm not going to what I'm going to do with it.
yeah. So,
Okay, well, sorry. I don't know if you would want to go down this route or another, Keaton, but even if we look at the definition of male or female, they have like social meanings that we use them in that would help that definition. And I know you're not about semantics all the time, Keaton, but it would help that definition that Poppy is using to include trans women as women and trans men as men. Whether he would accept that or not, I don't know. Whether we would need to bring up the definition of sex or gender from Cambridge or wherever. Again, you got to lead this time because I don't know what you're okay with and what you're not.
No, I don't. Yeah, I would. So I would.
The host. Sorry, Poppy. The host, not you.
My bad.
So, like, I just you can define things that that are this way, and that's cool and all. I just don't care if it causes harm. Like, I see that there's actually reasons to. I hold to a moral objective view that that essentially says that freedom and well-being are things that must be protected. And if you take actions that infringe upon others' freedom and well-being, and one of them being like trying to segregate trans women into the male's bathroom, it causes harm to them. It impacts their well-being.
Hold on, host. I need to just be very sure what you said at the beginning of what you were saying. You said, "I don't care if it causes harm." And I'm presuming you don't. The other way around.
I was saying that, like, I don't care about these definitions if they cause harm.
Carry on.
Because that is like under like a moral argument, like it's talking about oughts. Everything that I am saying is that we ought to do this because harm is bad, and I could justify why why we ought to protect freedom and well-being. It essentially comes down to like you having to like implicitly devalue the actions that you take or the reasons you do anything if you want to say that harm is not something we should care about.
Okay, all right.
So what I would say is that if it causes, it restricts somebody's freedom and well-being if you limit, essentially bathrooms into sex assigned category or into sex categories, and allowing individuals to have some choice over this doesn't. We have actually no substantial evidence to show that this puts women at risk. We haven't actually found any evidence that shows that transgender women are a substantial threat in any sort of way to just cisgender women. And that's quite concerning to me that people would say that, oh, well, they are a threat, but we just don't have the evidence to back that up. But we do have evidence
Most trans do not get bottom and top done. Like a large portion do.
Trans people, Poppy. We are people.
Yeah, trans people. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So-
Jesus.
You know what? You can get funny with me all you want. You know exactly what I mean.
Well, but here's the thing. That doesn't matter. It's still causing harm to them, and there's no evidence that shows that they're harming individuals. So we have substantive evidence to show that this is
What do you mean that
harmful
doesn't matter?
to.
What?
Yeah, we don't have evidence to show that transgender individuals are a threat to cisgender individuals under any circumstance. There's just no evidence of this.
No, I mean you just disregarded what. Do you not think the surgery holds any weight?
No, I don't care. I simply don't.
So hold on. Are you one of those self ideas, or maybe not you personally, but you know what I mean? You believe in it. Oh,
Yeah, I think that trans is a self-identification. It is something that because the fact that it has to deal with your identity. Somebody who hasn't undergone surgery or even any medical treatment can be trans, and they're just equally as valid, I would think.
yeah. This take. So right, but how would you? How would you? If you put it this way, you knew someone for a few years and you figured out that you were trans. You had we'll make it a bit more realistic. You've had a few months to come to terms with it. We'll just say this friend doesn't live overly close to you. Anyway, you meet up for a coffee and you say, "Hi, Bill. I've got something to actually tell you. Like, we can catch up later on general stuff, but this is actually something quite important to me." How would you word that? I'm interested because you're saying it's self ID, right? So
Yeah,
it's as simple as you saying, "Hi, Bill. Yeah, nice to meet you. Nice to see you again. I'm now a woman."
It's not that saying like I'm a woman. I felt this way for a while. I have thought deeply about this, and I'm more comfortable being seeing myself as a woman than a man. And would prefer if you use X name versus
Sorry, go on. My bad.
and just say, hey, I want to go by Sam now or something, or a different name, and use she her pronouns or what pronouns they want to use. That is something that does happen quite a lot. Actually, is it's kind of coming. Like, you have to have this conversation a number of times, but like if somebody comes out as being trans, I'll help other people say, hey, they're going by she her and this name now. And for the most part, I've never really seen any issue with it, other than people who have pushed back for like religious reasons, which I would just find that as a I don't think you should ever use your religion to see somebody as not being who they are.
What would make a religion? I mean, I'm not religious myself, but actually, now that you've said that, I've never asked anybody this question, so I'm interested to get an answer. What would you say that how would you say something like the the trans ideology was more relevant and valid than a religion?
Yeah, so I would hold that religions are usually dogmatic and or generally some sort of negligent view. They don't have their claims often don't have the burden of proof to back them up. Like I can fully accept like Jesus was an individual, but the idea that he resurrected from the dead, I simply have no reason to believe this. There's many contradictions in even the Gospels about basic things, let alone these big claims. So I have simply no reason to say hey, this supernatural claim is real, we literally have all the evidence in the world to say that, only the natural exists. And that, the supernatural have better, are much better explained by simple things such as hallucinations.
That's fair enough. Oh, I'm agnostic myself. I definitely believe there's something out there, but I'm not, into any religion.
Yeah, and a lot of times with like Christianity and the...
You're saying that's a little bit just on this. We will get back to what.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm genuinely intrigued. Are you a fan of Ian? And when I say Ian, if you don't know who I mean, then you probably know.
We are.
We are.
Yeah.
I thought. Do you know what? Do you know what it is? I don't know if maybe you've seen him a lot. It's the way you speak, the way you talk, specifically about that. You remind me of Ian. That's not an insult or a compliment. That's
I love.
It's a compliment to us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not I'm atheist, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, I can understand. Yeah, I got the vibe.
I do definitely like how Ian debates it. I definitely like how he talks about things like negligent beliefs.
They're really good about that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ian is good,
Who the fuck is
I
Ian?
like it a bit more informal. Like, as Solid said, he's been on my lives a few times. He, I mean, I keep it formal to some degree.
He? Who's he? Sorry.
I don't know what you said, but
You just said he, and you said he's been on my lives. Who is he? Who are you referring to?
I said Solid.
Solid is not a he, and if you don't know, you should ask.
Yeah. Well, yes. Okay. Well, I didn't know. I've never interacted with Solid.
That means you should have asked.
Right. Well, anyways, if I just keep Solid, that's gender neutral. Point being, without you throwing me off. Yeah, you guys remind me of it.
I'll throw you off if you disrespect my friends. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're intentionally being disrespectful, but
I will nonetheless. Yeah.
Hold on, yeah, because what we can't, well, you can do because it's your guys' live, but what you shouldn't do is try and not victimize, villainize someone just because purely I presumed something, right? I can't see Solid. I've barely heard Solid speak, so I think that's very disingenuous for you to get on my case like that.
When you don't know something, you should ask. That's a general, good rule in life about anything, not just about people's pronouns. You said you didn't know, which means you should have asked. That's all. Just a little lesson in how to learn things in general.
I'm not sure if that's about learning, but anyway, I don't know if we.
Hey, Stowe, if you don't know something, even if it has nothing to do with gender or anything like that, do you ask?
I generally tend to, unless if I have reasons to make a safe assumption.
Okay, but when you don't know, you ask. When you ask, do you learn things?
Yeah, generally that would be a good thing to do.
Whoa, crazy. It is in general. It's not just about this. So if you don't know, which you don't, you can just ask. That's okay.
Well, okay. If I put it this way, if I can agree to trying to ask if I don't know, can you agree that you would be in a bit hostile with me, just over sympathy?
If you perceive my autistic correction as hostile, that's your perception. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, now ADHD says I try to say things without thinking. So how about that? So we can do this all day.
I didn't even fucking hear what you said, but okay.
HD. We can do this all day. I've got this thing. I've got that thing. You've got that thing. I've got that. That's not what we have.
It has to do with my tone, sir. If you don't understand why I brought it up, then you probably don't know enough about the condition.
And you don't know enough about ADHD to know that sometimes we say things before we even have a chance to really think about it.
I have ADHD. I've been diagnosed ADHD for 3 years, bud.
For 3 years?
If you don't know something, you should probably ask. Again.
I've had an ADHD spectrum diagnosis since I was 7. So 19 years. I understand ADHD fairly well.
Yeah,
and the only reason I've only had a diagnosis for 3 years is because my sex tends to be underdiagnosed. And so I was diagnosed late in life.
I'm going to let it Britty up as well.
I will give you that. I've heard that before, yeah.
Hey, I have ADHD and autism next.
Can I get your age and pronouns, please?
Yeah, I'm 35 and I'm a woman.
Well, I'm gonna assume she, her pronouns.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
not all
Okay.
women use she, her pronouns, so yeah, as long as she clarifies.
Well, I generally tend to think that with opposition, it's fairly safe to assume that they use. It's
Yeah,
not always,
she,
but
her. Yep, she, her.
yeah.
She, her.
So anyways,
I'm a she, her.
yeah. What points do you have to make? Do you have any points to make in terms of why I shouldn't, or why people shouldn't support transgender individuals?
I believe that we should support our transsexual friends. I have multiple transsexual friends. Now, what you also have there is affirmative care. Now, what concerns me there is when we're talking about gender affirming care, we're in a majority of time speaking about children. Is that what you're wanting to support?
Well, I
People.
wouldn't say that children get like medical care. Trans children
They
don't
don't
get
get
medical
medical,
care.
but they do
It's
get affirmative care.
yeah,
No, they get blockers. They get blockers and they get HRT.
yeah.
So
At like the ages of 12, I
Rarely.
wouldn't consider them children
not really.
anymore. I would consider them adolescents.
12 and up.
Yeah.
They're
It's
children. Honey, they're
listen,
children.
Britt. Not all trans people need medical gender affirming care, and so it really isn't like the majority of trans people that are getting on blockers and HRT in their teen years. It really isn't the majority of us, because not all of us need that.
So, do you have, as a trans person, do you have gender dysphoria?
Do I? I
Are you
personally
trans?
do, and I am trans.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you have gender dysphoria. Cool. Are you on HRT?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
How
don't
does
seem to
that?
see the relevance here. Like,
Just
It
because I'm
matters.
one example of somebody who is transgender and has gender dysphoria doesn't mean that
Okay,
most of us
so you
do.
believe that people can be trans without having gender dysphoria?
yeah,
Correct.
and
It's not just a belief,
Okay.
it's a fact.
this is
Okay, so
also
that means that
supported
you feel
by
that anyone
like the
that
DSM-5
means that
agrees with
anyone
us.
can identify as. So that means anyone can identify as such. Yes?
I wouldn't say anyone. I think that there are
If
some
they actually
criteria.
are, yeah, and if they actually are,
And how
which
do
we
we
usually
state that
see,
they are?
Britt, we usually see insistence, consistence, and persistence over the course of many years, and usually starting with some of these behaviors when they're fairly young. So, like, there are parameters that we use that so a man can't just say he's a woman and be trans. But if there is a male who is a woman and who has been insistent, consistent, and persistent about it over the course of years, then yeah, we're gonna believe them.
So that means that if someone falls within your sort of stereotype where they are consistent, they can then also identify as a child.
No,
If
No.
that's
because
how
child's
it's
not an
felt.
identity.
How not?
Lord,
How is
is
that not an
age an
identity? It's
identity,
still
or
gender.
is it
It's still
the
gender.
number of revolutions
Okay,
around the
so
sun?
girl isn't a gender. Are you
Girl
stating that girl and boy
describes.
aren't genders?
Oh my God. Okay, girl and boy are genders that describe children,
Adolescent.
adolescents. Yes.
Exactly.
But
So
just
a girl is an
because it is a
adolescent
gender
female human.
attached to an age doesn't mean that the
Oh,
age is a part of the
but
gender all of a sudden.
a woman is also a gender that's attached to an age. So a woman
But the
is
age
an
isn't a
adult
part
female
of the
human.
gender. What do you
Yeah,
not
Yes,
so
it
get?
is.
if somebody identifies
Yes, it is.
as a boy, when after they turn 18, they become a man. That's how this works. It's so the age is not something that you have a choice over. I don't think you would argue that people have a choice
Exactly.
over their age. Oh, okay, so we agree on this. So why are we bringing it up?
Exactly. Because I'm stating that our four genders within the human society are girl, boy, man, woman. So to be, let's speak of a girl. You need to be an adolescent female human. To be a
Girl is not a
woman,
distinct
you
gender
need
from
to
woman.
be an adult. Yeah, it is. It's the adolescent form of a female. The woman is the adult form of a female.
So why should we listen to your
This is how we
definitions?
distinguish from animals to humans, right?
That's
We don't go
actual
and say, oh,
fact.
yeah, we don't go say, look at that kitty, and we don't say, look at that girl kitty. I mean, you might say girl kitty, as a form of like not admiration, as a form of endearment, right? Like you might go,
Humanization almost of these animals, yeah.
yeah, whatever. I could think of whatever word is, but you don't actually mean it. Like, there's my girl. It's not like there is literally my girl. Like, there's my kitty. So I do get what Billy's saying. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it tends to be that we use these things as like to see some sort of like individualization. What we see like our when you say you say good boy to a dog, you're seeing them as an individual, not as simply an animal. And that's kind of reflects our better understanding of, hey, they have some intelligence and there's some bond there. So yeah.
Let's.
I get that.
So let's.
That's a fair
Let's
take.
stick-
Sorry, I just want to say that's a fair take. Yeah, that's a good one.
Do you want me to hop down so that there's room for Mama, or do you care if this panel is really full?
Yeah, I can. I'll just bring Mama up. That's fine.
Okay, let me know if you want me to drop
Let's
later.
just try not to overspeak. that's all I'll say.
I don't have a lot of time anyways, but what you're talking about, also hi, what you're talking about by adding human traits to non-human things is called personification. It doesn't just occur to objects, we do it to animals too. So saying girl cat would be personification.
Okay, I mean, that doesn't change anything I said.
So saying what's a mare and what's a stallion?
Yeah, but those aren't like those are just categories of horse.
Mm-mm. Yeah, exactly. They're actually gender categories of horse. If you want to look them up, they're actually
They're sex
adult
categories.
gendered.
Do you not understand that we use
No,
sex
they're
in relation to
adult.
animals? Sorry, I
So
did
then
interject. I'll mute up for that.
What's the Sorry, they're sex categories. No, so you've got a stallion, which is your male adult horse. You've got a mare, which is your female adult horse. We also have genders for their non-adult. Okay?
That's
They're
actually
not
not
sex
true.
categories.
That has nothing to
Okay,
do with the
so-
fact that it's sex, not
Mama,
gender.
there's no. Hold on. So, Mama, there's no other term for the foals. Yeah.
Yeah, so mare is not an adult an adult
Female
equine.
horse.
Adult female horse. It's equine, right? It's not an adult female equine. What it actually is just any female equine, right? Adult is not part of the category for mare. Neither is adult part of the category for stallion. Do you know what is part of the category for stallion? Being unneutered. So a neutered equine would not be a stallion.
That sounds way more involved with sex.
There's no younger terminology before they become adults or of mature age, as we'll state it, with horses.
There are, but I think it's just disingenuous to say that mare doesn't refer to
That's a gender term.
Here,
It's
I
a
have a
gender
question for
term.
Mama. Is calf even gendered?
No, it's not.
So that isn't
A
a
calf
gender
is-
term
a-
at all.
a calf-
It's not sex
a-
related. It's not gender related. It's just related to age.
A calf has nothing to do with horses, though, love. So.
Am I wrong that that's what a baby horse is also
calf
considered?
That's a fucking cow, bro.
It would be colt and fowl are gonna be the
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be Colt and Philly, but
Oh,
they
yeah,
are
you're right.
they you can argue are gendered terms.
Yeah,
However,
a calf's
mare
a
and
cow.
stallion are not because they do not account for age. A filly would still be a mare, and a colt would still be a stallion, assuming the colt is not neutered
No.
or castrated.
No, but they wouldn't be because when they're first born, that's not what they're called, are they? Just like how when us as humans are born, we're either boys or girls, and then we hit that age of adulthood, we're then women and men. So no.
No.
So the biggest difference between us and
incorrect.
horses is that we have this idea of society that we can express
Oh,
ourselves in.
so we're just
Britt,
our minds.
we've been really trying to not interrupt you, but when like hosts and other people are speaking, I really would appreciate if you let them finish.
Yeah, we live within societies, and these gender terms, they kind of fall apart without a society. They don't make a whole lot of sense without a society, and that makes sense why, you know, the further you go back, the less, you know, gender terms you see more like sex-based terms, you know, and people not understanding these things such as identity. I would say that, you know, within the last 100 years or so, we've really actually, as a society, kind of started to understand just, you know, the world around us a lot better than we used to.
So I'd also like to add in that all of these would be gendered based terms that are dependent on society, because age in of itself is dependent on society. Mare and Stallion are going to exist regardless of age, which is why you do have some people saying a young mare, which would reference to a filly, right? Not to mention that we know Stallion at the bare minimum is going to definitely be a societal term, because it is specifically in reference to a male horse that has not been castrated. A gelding is a male horse that has been castrated, right? So the act of something being castrated and giving a new term to it would be giving them a sociological term, right? So all these terms that we give animals exist because of our society.
Do we realize why gender is actually considered a social construct? Due to age. So when we look at...
That's not the only reason.
No, it's due to age. So a woman is adult, which is social, female, which is smex, and then species, which is human. Then a girl is adolescent, which is social, female, which is species, which is schmex, and then species, which is human. Okay, so yes, it's a social construct
Humans
due
a
to
genus
the
as well.
age.
If we're going to be
So it's
nitpicky about it.
So we're now not humans.
Homo sapiens sapiens.
Are we not?
Yeah, so we're humans.
Are we not humans?
Yeah, but that's a genus. We are Homo sapiens sapiens. Like that is our actual species.
It's also important to note that just because something is made up of two different biological categories does not mean that it's not still a social construct. The combination of those biological categories in a term that we use socially would inherently make it a social construct, just like a gelding, right? Someone castrating a gelding, castration is not a social, I mean, the act of doing it is, but an animal that is castrated, they're still going to exist, right? An animal that loses its testicles is still going to exist. Us calling that a gelding is objectively a social contract, even though there's nothing that is purely social about that definition. It just inherently is. Not to mention, you're kind of ignoring the utility of gender and the whole point of gender existing. And it's really disingenuous to try to deny that the adult human female definition just doesn't inherently work when we have people who are women, have always been women, and throughout history have been addressed as women despite not being biologically female, right? And also not being human, for that matter. It's just a disingenuous argument, because definitions inherently are descriptive, not prescriptive. So we use them in dictionaries to describe what would typically be a woman, but that's not to set in its own definition of what a woman is.
Absolutely, Mama. And to add on to that real quick, I would also say that the only species that is capable of referring to each other with any sort of social terms, treating each other differently based on these social categories, is human beings. You don't see horses treating each other differently because they hit a certain age or because they're castrated or whatever. Like, it isn't a thing for any other species. We as humans are able to have these social constructs come together in order to be able to describe these things. Again, descriptive, not prescriptive.
Cole, I'm going to actually disagree with you there, because there's a number of intelligent animals that do use things such as age as a defining. Chimpanzees can interact with highly complex societies that have like ideas of fairness and stuff.
I guess that's fair, and I need
Yeah.
to do some researching.
Yeah,
But on this level, I should have specified on this level.
Yeah, we're like
at
the only
least.
ones who can like identify what a gender is. I would say that's something that's
Yeah.
unique to humans.
Because most other animals don't really care what a sex of another animal is, even in chimpanzees, unless it's specifically for mating. Like every other time, like they'll just like, even when it comes to mating, oftentimes homosexuality runs rampant in even other intelligent species like dolphins or chimpanzees. So I don't think they actually care what we would consider to be gender.
Not the gay dolphin sex. No.
Sorry.
It's such a fun thing to say.
Turn.
Yeah, so yeah, there are some like unique things that about humans, especially within our late stages of like civilization, where we have things like we can communicate with each other readily, and we have people who literally spend their lives just looking into these things and like studying philosophy and stuff.
Yeah,
These
I
things are
want
very
Brit and
unique to
Poppy.
us.
Sorry. I want Brit and Poppy to have a chance to respond real quick, but I do want to do a quick mod break. We have 20 people in here. We should be at 10K likes by now. If you like these conversations, whether you're opposition or whether you agree, tap the screen, share the live, send a rose or two to get us closer to our gift goal, and then these conversations can continue. Thank you, friends.
I need to get a mod like Cole. I've been missing a trick here.
Yeah, Cole's just a sellout. Nah, I don't trust Cole. Cole's a sellout.
Yeah, tap the screen, like and share the live. Also, fun fact that I forgot to mention last time I talked to you, Stoat. The only reason why I know what a Stoat is because of the game Inscription. By the way, that was the only reason why I knew what a Stoat was when I came out. Okay, gonna shut up.
Yeah, and of
hey,
course
Pappy,
it
I'll
was,
mod like this for you.
and of course it was the Stoat that was an asshole.
What? Wait, that sounds really bad. What is happening?
Yeah,
Solid's tapping the screen. Sorry. Can you mute Solid? Thank you.
I muted them.
Yeah,
Wow.
Oh,
she taps so freaking hard.
Minx is better than Stoat. I mean, Mink are pretty geek too. I don't know.
I just want Britt to respond to literally anything that was said. Nate, I swear to God.
I can't.
Solid,
with
yeah.
It kind of sounds like you're having a good old time.
That's not what that sounds like.
Setting me off.
Yeah, Solid. Please keep tapping, but also please stay muted. Love you. Go ahead.
Holy shit.
She's we love her here, but oh my God, Snake.
For me, I'm very simple. I stick to actual facts. Gender, sex, they're synonymous. Trans people exist. I'm not against you guys. I'm not against trans people.
You just don't think we exist.
I just said that you exist. I have multiple transsexual friends.
But if you think that sex and gender are synonymous, then you don't think trans people exist. And I just
wait. Why are you saying transsexual? Because transsexual is kind of a bit of an outdated term.
Some people
because she's a
Yeah.
transmedicalist. That's why.
That's
not a. Okay, so then my friends are irrelevant. So Anastasia,
Your
Natara.
No, you just only think they're valid because they've had medical transition.
Actually, I can tell you that a lot of them haven't.
Okay, so then why
call them transgender people. That's just ridiculous.
No, because that's not what they identify as. They're transsexuals, and I'm going to call them as such.
You don't identify as transgender. Transgender is a describing term. It's a category. You either fall into there or you don't. You can't identify as transgender.
So you think that people cannot be transsexual and say they're transsexual?
I just said
that transracial.
Transsexual.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Please stop the tapping.
If someone is transgender, they fit the category of transgender. Transsexual is not. The definition of transsexual has varied so drastically, but the pretty unanimous agreement is that it is a subcategory of transgender. So someone who's transsexual would still be transgender, but the pretty widely accepted definition would require that this person has undergone medical treatment, specifically surgical treatment, to be classified as transgender. And no, you can't identify as that term either, because you just simply fit into the category of that term.
Transsexual just means medicalized, which means you're on hormones at minimum. Does not mean that you need to have had bottom surgery or anything. It means that you need to have been medicalized on hormones. Yes? I know I'm correct.
But that's exclusionary. What about people who can't access?
I would even just say that that's incorrect. Because, like, Henry Benjamin was one of the people who coined the term transsexual.
Medicalized.
Yeah, so Henry Benjamin, I don't know if you know who he is. He's one of the early sexologists. He was one of the first people to coin the term transsexual, and it was based off of the fact that he noticed that, he, along with his colleagues, noticed that some individuals who were assigned male at birth didn't just dress like women; they felt like women,
or rather, they were women.
Yeah, well, they felt like. I mean, at this time, this wasn't. They didn't understand the idea of like transgender. So
yeah, but trans people still existed under the same definition that we would use today.
Oh yeah, I would say so, but
so they were women. They just didn't necessarily know that they could be women, if that makes sense.
So trying to use a terminology that was used specifically by this person in that time period.
Yeah, and it's kind of gotten it's kind of got some negative connotation attached with it now too. So that's why we also try to avoid using it, because it does have some connotation attached to it that was used to harm individuals. It's often seen as a slur as a result.
Transsexual is seen as a slur.
It can be.
Yeah, let's just avoid it on this panel. Because transgender includes people who are transsexual. So let's just not say that, because we're including them still when we say transgender.
It might not be a slur, but it's definitely outdated and offensive.
It is in a lot of spaces seen as a slur, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to just basic definitions. What does trans mean?
To be on the opposite side of.
Okay.
Or
so
it also can,
then if you put If you put trans in front of woman, what does that mean?
To be on the opposite side of. Yeah, you have to have. You actually have to say.
So if you're on the
so how could you be
side of a woman? What are you?
How would a trans? Wait, hold on. How could a trans man be a male? Because it necessarily means on the opposite side of. So it has to be woman that we use here.
Exactly. Yeah. If a trans man means you're on the opposite side of a man, it means that you are a woman.
No, it means that you're
correct.
Female.
They're female.
Can I actually
exactly.
explain this real
A
fast?
trans man is a
listen,
female.
Britt, I'm going to mute you real quick because this is misinformation and we need to talk about it. Trans meaning on the other side of, and I'm going to let Mama chime in here in a second. It's relating your sex and your gender, not just relating gender and gender, like man being opposite of woman, for example. That's not what it's saying. It means that females typically are aligned on the same side of women, and males typically are aligned on the same side of man. And so when we have that incongruence, that lack of alignment, we're talking about females that don't align and are men, and males that don't align and are women. And I'm gonna let Mama take it from here.
I mean, you're close, Cole, but it's a little bit easier to explain than that. So but the definition of trans doesn't really work when you use trans by itself, because trans by itself isn't really a word. It is a prefix. So when we're saying trans woman, we're not saying trans hyphen or trans woman with no space. It is trans space woman, because the grammatically correct way to interpret that word, that phrase, would be to understand that trans in that sentence is a shorthand adjective for the term transgender. So we're not saying trans woman on the other side of woman. We're saying transgender woman. Trans being on the other side of gender, gender being a reference to gender identity and sex. So transgender is simply someone who has a gender identity that is incongruent or the opposite of the sex assigned at birth. We're adding that adjective onto the term woman. So it's just kind of disingenuous to say trans woman means on the other side of a woman when that's just not grammatically correct or how we use the term.
It's also very disingenuous that you tell women that they're cis women when they're just women. We don't
Okay,
need a
listen,
prefix.
Britt, again, for misinformation. And also to clarify for myself, Mama, we were saying the same things, and I didn't mean to imply that I thought that, like, saying trans woman meant on the opposite side of woman and didn't understand that trans was short for transgender. I just didn't put the word gender in there to specify that what I was explaining was being transgender, whether it be transgender woman or transgender man. But anyways, also to continue to clarify, if I can remember what I was going to say, because ADHD just took my train of thought. Yeah, I there was definitely something else I was going to say, but I forgot, so I'll give up the mic for now.
I think I know what you're going to say. Essentially, cisgender is a shorthand. Cis is a shorthand adjective
Yep.
for cisgender, which is a categorization term. Both transgender and cisgender are both categories. You cannot identify as transgender. You simply would fit into that category of transgender. So no, it is not disingenuous to call someone a cis woman if they fit the classification of a cisgendered woman. Just like it's not disingenuous to call someone a trans woman if they fit the classification of transgender woman. If you're trying to say that it is, then you can't call trans woman either. You need to just call them woman, and you can't call cis woman. You need to call them woman. You can't have
Correct.
it. You can't have it one way and not the other.
You did know what I
that's-
was going to say, Mama. Thank you. We've been live together twice, and somehow you still managed to follow. Thanks.
That's completely incorrect because women do not need a prefix. Women have never needed a
You just disagree with, like,
prefix.
language and science.
Yeah, genuinely,
No,
do you have like an
I am
actual argument
actually-
other like based on how grammar and language works, right? And which is what I explained to you. Do you have an actual argument? Because you're trying to make a semantic and a language argument without a language or semantical argument against it, right? Because I explained to you what cisgendered means and explained to you what transgender means. And no matter how you want to put it, this is
and-
objectively what these terms mean, and this is how these terms are used. So if you have an
You're
argument
speaking of
against that, you need to have
cisgender.
an argument with language against that.
Because, Mama, you're disingenuous. You're speaking of
How?
cisgender and transgender. Now, when we speak of trans women, it is literally trans in front of woman.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
Now, when you
understand
call
words.
women
transgender.
cis women, but that's
Cisgender.
not the fact. When we speak of the
It is.
word, we're not saying cisgendered women. When you speak to women, you're not saying you're a cisgendered woman. You're saying you're a cis woman. The same
Britt,
when we
would
speak
you
on
just-
trans people.
Do you know what a shorthand
Trans
Would you
adjective
just
is?
woman.
rather us say
Oh my
the full
Lord.
word of cisgender?
Hold on.
Is like, would that make you happy? Because
It's not
I
even-
Off you
call you a
go.
cisgendered
It's not
woman
even
if
that
you'd rather
deep.
that over cis woman.
I'm just a
It's not
woman.
it's not even that deep. I don't
I'm
think Britt
just a
knows what
woman.
I don't think Britt knows what a shorthand adjective is. Britt, do you know what a
I don't
shorthand or
think you
shortened
know. I
adjective
don't
is?
think you know the fact that
Britt,
you're
Britt, is
literally
it-
a trans
do you-
woman.
Britt,
Do you
I'm
not?
not.
Wait,
For one, I'm not. But do you know what a shorthand adjective is? Like genuinely, do you know what a shorthand or a shortened adjective is? Because when you make a shortened adjective, right, you're taking the first part of that adjective and adding it to a noun instead of the full adjective to shorten it for language and to make language flow better, right? That does not mean you're only adding that prefix to that noun, because that's not how prefixes work either.
it just means you're disingenuous because when you speak of a trans woman, you're saying a trans woman. When do we speak to trans
I don't
women
put-
and say transgender woman? We don't.
Most of the time.
It's called a
All the
trans
So,
woman.
fun fact, in
Pappy-
legal and medical documentation,
Pappy, are they called trans women?
So in legal and medical documentation, they will actually write out the whole word. And if you actually have ever in your life read anything revolving around transgender woman or trans woman, you'll see that it is not trans hyphen woman or trans no space woman, there's always a space there, because the grammatically correct way to acknowledge that being a shortened adjective is to put a space. It is not a prefix. Same thing with cis woman. It's cis space woman or not cis
Sweetheart, I
hyphen
am a
woman, or
woman.
cis no
There's
space
no
woman. Right?
cis. Sweetheart,
Hey,
on all my
Britt, can you
medical
Google
documents, I'm
trans
just a
woman, no
woman.
space?
I am
Google
just a
trans woman,
woman.
no space, and tell me what happens.
Sweetheart, I am a woman. On none of my documents does it say cis.
Google
It just says
trans woman, no
woman.
space. Tell me what happens.
No,
Yeah,
but
so
I was just
Brett,
told
Brett,
that it
Brett,
says
flags.
cisgender. It does not. It just says
Brett,
woman
you're
and
not acknowledging
female.
how language works, right? You're being
You're
disingenuous.
not
You're not acknowledging how language
no,
works.
you're the one being
No, do you know what
disingenuous.
happens? No, so do you know what happens when you do what was asked of you by our other fine guest, right? Google will tell you, and so will every other source will tell you, putting no space in trans woman is a mischaracterization and misspelling of the term trans woman. They'll tell you that's not how you use that term.
They'll do the little autocorrect thing where it's like, did you mean, and then it will put trans space woman and give you the option to instead search for what you put in the bar, if I'm not mistaken. And also I'm not even sorry, Britt. See, that's exactly what I just described. If you keep like crying over other people
Genuinely?
speaking, you'll continue to get muted.
Like, genuinely, it's not that complicated. Language is not that difficult, and that's what I'm explaining to you. When you use the term trans woman or cis woman, it is shorthand adjective. If you want to make the argument that we shouldn't call cisgendered woman because they're just women, that's also a stupid argument, because it's only relevant in terms of classifying trans woman versus cisgendered woman and the differences between them for arguments like this. No one's going to go on the street and call a woman a trans woman or cis woman. We're just going to call them women.
Also, I may add that, you know, if you're gonna use the word should, I will hammer you about the way that things should be, because that's making a moral claim at that point, and I will drive that home. That is an argument you will lose.
I love how it's like 5 against 1 here. It's beautiful. At the end of the
It's like
day,
2
you
against 1.
literally stated to me, no, sweetheart, there's 5. Can you count or not?
Yeah.
What
When
about
did
against you?
Delilah or
Okay.
Snake say anything
Um,
at all?
Oh, they spoke. Anyway, at the end of the day, you literally said to me that on medical things, it says cisgendered woman. No, I am a woman. It never states that. It says woman because I'm an adult, and it says female. I have never had cisgender put on my medical forms ever
Yeah.
in my life.
So
Because
I
it's
don't know
not
if you're being
terminology that
I
is
don't
needed for an adult female human.
I don't know if you're being willfully ignorant or just disingenuous, and I'm assuming you're
No,
being willfully ignorant, because I'm not gonna try to claim you're being
I'm
disingenuous,
being
because you might just
correct.
be willfully ignorant, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you, in terms of medical terminology, I'm not referencing just what's on your medical paperwork. I'm talking about studies, medical studies, peer-reviewed articles, medical journals, right? When we're talking about medical journals and the differentiating trans women between cis women, that's the terminology that they will use and that they will write out, right? On your paperwork, they don't typically identify trans and cis. They'll just say woman, man, if anything, and then they'll ask your sex.
They'll say woman or man. So what do they put on a trans woman paperwork when they go and see a women's health specialist?
That they're
Female.
women,
Yeah,
but that
they
they're
put,
male. They're male women.
it depends
That's
on it depends on
typically
where they are in their transition. But yeah, they'll have different male
exactly
and
So
female.
like if
do
you've had
do
top
males
and
need
bottom
to?
surgery, you just need the same women's health care generally, and you don't
Yeah.
always have
Oh,
to
this is
disclose
so
even
so
that you're male.
you need a pap smear.
Yeah.
You
So
need a pap
I don't
smear.
think you know. Okay. Describe to me what a pap smear is.
Oh, I need
Tell
to
me.
describe to a male what a pap smear is. Are you fucking alright?
I don't think I'm male. What?
I
Oh
don't
fuck! Where'd my
think that
dick go? Oh god, my dick's missing.
right? Oh no. I
Oh
don't think
no,
that
they
Britt
made the
knows
critical
that
blunder.
there's such a thing as an anal pap smear. I don't think that
Yeah.
she's aware that that's a thing.
Yeah, so a pap smear specifically is going to be taking tissue from the end of the vagina, typically the cervix. Trans women can get pap smears, but typically people don't generally need pap smears. Not to mention the amount of women without a uterus and thus not having a cervix who also don't need pap smears is also like
That's
what
incorrect.
20% of the
One of my
population.
best friends, my best friend has no uterus. She still needs to have a pap smear.
Yeah, I think you were on my panel making this claim before, and you said they still had a cervix. Cervix is part of the uterus. If they have absolutely no uterus, they don't have a cervix.
Nope.
I
didn't
don't think
say
you know
that.
female anatomy the way you think you do.
I am a female, so I think I do.
So wait, hold on.
She was
Hold
born
on.
without a uterus. She has a biological child because they took her eggs, her ovum, her large gametes. They inseminated that with her husband's small gametes, and they implanted that in her mum, who was the carrier. So,
Okay, what does that have to do with?
yeah.
What is a pap smear? Tell me what a pap smear is then.
A pap smear
Yeah, where do they
is
get the
when
tissues
they-
from?
inside your uterine canal.
No, they get it. They typically get it when a typical pap smear, a standard pap smear. The tissue is taken from the cervix. The cervix is exclusively a part of the uterus. If someone does not have their entire uterus, they will not have a cervix, right?
I'm sorry. I just
Oh,
need to
what the
say
so hold on.
before we
hold
move on, real
So
quick.
why does a male
Before we
need
move
that?
on, and I
Hold
will
on, why
mute
does
you
a
for
male
this.
need that?
Before we move on, you literally asked Britt after
Why does a male
already
need that?
after already telling her the answer to the question, and she still got it wrong.
Genuinely,
Why does a
She
male
just
need
isn't
that?
listening. That's all.
Why
the
do
amount of
you?
cognitive
I
dissonance is insane.
literally no, because I literally caught you in your own shit. Why does a male need that then?
Yeah,
Because a
that's
male
why I
doesn't
said
have a
atypical.
cervix.
Yeah, so if a
Yeah,
male
that's
doesn't
why I
have a
said
cervix,
atypical
they don't need
standard.
it. People without cervixes
Yeah, so
don't eat pap
Oh.
smears. This
yes,
is
that's what
Exactly.
they're-
So why does a male need it? That's what I was stating. Caught you in your own
are
shit.
you
a lot
implying
of-
that?
Why
a
does
lot
a
of
male need
females-
it?
Okay,
So then-
again, do you know that an anal pap smear is a thing?
Yeah, so I need to
Oh,
clarify
Lordy.
something. When we say
This is
standard
fucked.
pap smear, when we say typical pap smear, we are almost exclusively talking about the cervix. However, there are atypical pap smears. So if you're taking cells from the end of the vaginal canal, that is still technically a pap smear, even if it's an atypical pap smear. So yes, everyone typically should get a smear, a test from the cells at the end of the vaginal canal, that end of that vaginal pouch, whether you have a vagina or not. Which is why saying no males need the same type of pap smear. Yes, that's technically true. No male's going to need to get their cervix pap
They
smear.
don't have a cervix.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Did you?
that's-
Are you hearing anything I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Holy fuck, that doesn't.
Do you not know how biology
Males
works?
don't have a cervix. So what the fuck are you speaking of?
Yeah, so a pap
Okay.
smear, a standard, there are things called atypical pap smears, right? And they'll use smears from other parts of the body, just like an anal pap smear, like Cole was saying, or they would use tissues from the end of the vaginal pouch. That is not a cervix, but sometimes they'll still do the smear. It's not a typical pap smear, which is why it'd be disingenuous to say it's the same pap smear that a cis woman would get, or a woman with a uterus or a cervix would get. But no one's arguing that, right? Because you wanted to
Exactly.
argue that someone without a uterus or cervix would get a pap smear. No, they're not going to get their cervix pap smeared because there's no cervix in pap smear. It's a different kind of test, even though it's very similar. So
All
it's just
right.
kind of a stupid argument.
Yeah, atypical mod break. If you're sexually active, you should be getting a pap smear regularly. It's really good at
Even as a
keeping your
male.
sexual health good. So yeah, educate yourself on this, see your doctors, get the health care that you need.
Yeah, it's generally a test for HPV. Or can be
Instead,
used for
make sure that you bend over and cough if you're a male.
So
Get
let me
your
ask you
prostate
this, Brittany. Why would males need to get mammograms if they weren't women? I thought women, only get mammograms generally.
You've never heard of men having breast tissue?
Yeah, but
That's not normal.
oh,
So,
well,
wait,
you're making some sort of like claim about what is normal. What is normal?
Men get breast tissue. Actually, all men have breast tissue.
Wow. Yeah, but it's not
All men have
recommended.
breast tissue.
It's not
All
generally
males
recommended.
have breast tissue.
So that's actually a disingenuous
Gynecomastia.
claim.
You've never
That's
heard
actually,
of gynecomastia?
so
Yeah,
that's actually a disingenuous claim if you're talking about
Oh,
normality.
it's a
Because yes, everyone has breast
disingenuous
tissue, but
claim.
having breast tissue in the rate that would cause or perpetuate the
Gynecomastia.
chances of that. Can you let me finish? Having breast tissue in the rates that would perpetuate the chance of breast cancer. Really? Why are you still interrupting me? Right. So having breast tissue that would perpetuate the chances of breast cancer is in men is not typical. That is not normal, right? So if you want to go by what's normal and what's not normal, then you'd have to exclude people with gynecomastia and other quote unquote males who have breast tissue. Not to mention the prostate thing is just not an argument because actually studies show that most trans women don't need to get tested for prostate cancer because the chances of getting prostate cancer is basically zero.
That's actually incorrect. Any male needs to be checked for prostate cancer. Like, I know you're still young. I think, what are you, 27,
whatever, if you don't
28?
have a prostate.
You're very young. You do need to, males have prostates.
No,
Everyone actually has a prostate. Everyone
not if they
has
have
a
it
prostate.
removed.
You know what causes prostate cancer?
You can't get that
You know what
removed.
causes-
Even females have it. Females just don't have it as
No, they don't.
large. But females
No, they
have a
don't.
prostate.
No, they don't.
Females don't. Go look it up. Go look it up.
They
Yeah,
have,
so
they
I
have
don't
skin
think-
Go
glands.
look it up.
Okay.
You are fucking wrong.
Yeah.
You
so
are
females. So I don't think you know what a prostate is to begin with. So to have prostate cancer, typically you need testosterone, which is why the treatment for prostate cancer on a large prostate is testosterone blockers. If your body is not absorbing or have testosterone free flowing in it, your chances of getting prostate cancer is basically next to zero unless you're allowing testosterone into your system. At that point, the prostate will start to function like a Skene's gland and actually shrink dramatically. A Skene's gland is not a prostate, although they are very similar. And if exposed to the opposite cross-sex hormones, will function very similar, but they're not the same thing. And it's insane to say women have prostates because they're in completely different spots, even though they perform very similar functions. Like, I don't think you know basic biology the way you think you do, and it's slightly infuriating. The amount of misinformation coming out of your mouth is kind of wild.
No, the misinformation that's coming out of your mouth as you
What
link it towards your own
misinformation?
ideology.
Yeah,
all of it. You
honestly,
literally just
if
said that
you-
women don't have a
Britt-
prostate. You
Britt,
literally just stated that we.
I am cutting you off, probably for your own good here, so you don't dig your hole deeper. Just to say, you are the one spreading misinformation, so much so. And if you just realized what you are not educated on and then chose not to open your mouth on those topics, we wouldn't have a problem with you. Maybe you are educated in some areas and you should go speak about those things. This is not one of them, ma'am. I'm sorry, but Dunning-Kruger really got your ass.
I hate the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's actually just a bad thing to say because at the very left-hand side is when people have the highest they overestimate the most.
Yeah, so just for context, the
It's
female
so
version
funny
of
that
a
you didn't
prostate.
call out your own fucking friend for saying that a calf was a horse.
I asked
She
a
makes small
question.
mistakes.
No, you.
Yeah,
Oh my
so-
gosh, I didn't know
Oh.
something, and then
Yeah,
I learned.
No,
Just
you
to
said a
clarify-
calf was a horse.
So
That's
just to
hilarious.
clarify,
I
Cole
asked
and-
if a calf was
yeah.
a horse. I didn't say
No,
a
you
calf was
didn't.
a horse.
You
I
said that a
asked.
calf was. You said a calf was a
I
baby
mean,
horse.
to play
So-
that.
Delilah,
Okay,
Delilah
okay,
has a great
guys.
point. This isn't about horses. What the fuck are we bringing up horses again about?
Okay, real fast. A
Oh,
couple
so when
things here,
yum gets
right?
cooked, you
So,
don't like it.
a few things here. Cole, at no point did they ask if a calf was a horse, nor did they say calf was a horse. Their specific question is if calf is a gendered term or not. That was their only question, right? And to our response was no, it's not.
I'm going
it's
to
not a
interrupt
horse
because
anyways.
that's not true. Because afterwards I did,
asked
or at
afterward,
least yes, afterwards I
Yes.
did ask if calves were what like baby horses were called as well. Because
Yes,
I
you
didn't
asked that
freaking
after-
know it was different. Whoa.
Yeah, you
and
you
I
that
asked,
after-
and then I learned. Whoa,
Yeah,
crazy.
so I just want to clarify that your original question was not is calf the term for a baby horse gender neutral? No, the original question, the very first question was just is calf gender neutral, and then later you asked if it was a horse or not. The Skene's gland are two different organs, by the way. Like they're two different glands.
Did
It's
she
not one.
run or did what happened?
I think she ran.
Just got mad about listening to other people educate her, I guess.
I
But
think on
also,
the
like,
invite,
we don't have to listen to the rewinding anymore, so.
The amount of like insane misinformation she's just lying about is wild.
Genuinely. I hope she heard me when I said that Dunning-Kruger really got her ass, because Jesus Christ.
but that's not even what I hate the Dunning-Kruger because it's often misrepresented, and what it actually says it is simply that people tend to overestimate their knowledge about subjects, except if they've like until they have like spent many years in the field. Like people with doctorates tend to not overestimate their knowledge.
Yeah, and that's all that I'm saying about her, is that like what I said right before mentioning Dunning-Kruger was just like, if she just knew what she didn't know and then chose not to speak on those topics, we'd all be fine. But she doesn't understand that she doesn't know shit in like compared to the people around her in this space, and is still choosing to spread the misinformation and speak on it. And I mean, she can continue to learn and then get her head out of her ass and maybe not be so like bad about these conversations and actually have some education at some point. I'm not saying that she can't. I'm just saying that's not where things are at right now. And she's really saying things like I'm right, you're wrong. Like very clear statements on that front. And it's just like, no, you are too confident. You're overestimating it on this particular topic, at least right now.
Yeah, she was on my panel before saying very similar things, which is why she knew my age. I don't know why she assumed I'm a trans woman, because I'm very openly non-binary. Especially
It's
on my
so funny
panel.
to me when they just assume and are very wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird to me that like she just makes a lot of gross assumptions that just not even assumptions, just like claims with no evidence or backing behind them.
I really should have just pushed them towards the morals debate because it's pretty brutal for them, from my understanding. It's like it's just an auto lose for them.
I mean, I feel like every debate with her was an auto lose because she literally didn't have a point for anything she was saying. Quite literally, everything out of her mouth was factually incorrect. Like, I don't think she said anything that's actually accurate, other than she was close about the terms for horses. I think that was the only thing that was like kind of accurate.
Right. You're very right. Me thinking back on that conversation, it was so bad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, literally nothing she said had any actual facts behind it.
And
normally I can say, at least someone said something that was true. No, everything was wrong. Like
for real. And she pivoted, and we let her, and we followed her down her own bunny trails even to get like to really off topic things. But yeah, none of it was true nonetheless.
Quick question. The Pip guy up here, was he a GC too?
Yeah, to some extent.
Poppy, whatever, yeah.
Oh, he ran for me. Okay, he probably knew who I was then. That's probably why he ran when I started talking, once he realized who I was.
Delilah says she was hung up on the stallions.
The fact that the lady didn't understand that there's a term for castrated versus uncastrated horses, which is kind of wild too. Does castrating a horse make it not male anymore? If so, does that make it a sex term? Like what?
It's very clear that it's like these things are just used to describe things that are useful within our society. And then we co-opt them as time goes on.
Yeah. And the fact that we use them to make society easier makes them social constructs.
Yeah. These like ideas wouldn't exist without like our society making them ideas. It's not like math where it's a prescriptive thing where like a function, will exist without like theoretically humans. They're like these are like transcendental things that are discoverable. It's something that's been classified for a reason within a society. So
the only thing that's prescriptive, even remotely, was that she said was female. That's like the only thing that's prescriptive, because we have a separate definition for female, even if people don't want to admit it. We do have a definition for female.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you ever just like remember you have an appointment and you're like, I'm gonna leave at this time, and then you just forget until well after the appointment?
Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I might have done that. I was supposed to leave at 12:45 and it's 1:30 now and my appointment was at 1:10.
Oh.
Oh god. I should probably call, but I can't. I can't even schedule another shot this week anyways, so I guess it doesn't matter. I never miss shot appointments. Damn.
What, are you scared of a little
Anyway.
jab? Come on now, friend. No.
As if I don't get enough. You knew at one point I was having a cluster shot appointment, which was 8 pokes in one appointment.
Oh.
And then I had my my shot, my T shot, and then I had my Xolair shot, and then I had my Aimovig shot. So I had, what's that, 9, 10, 11 shots in 1 week. It's fine. But I'm done with clusters, which is good.
Glister. What did I just get a thing for? Oh, okay. I see what that is. Got it. Yeah, where are all the GCs? Come on. Come on. Here, GCs. Psst, 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 psst. We won't bite unless you ask us.
Only 3 shares? Are you kidding? Pretty much everyone in here is, like, on our side. Let's get those shares up to, like, at least 10, guys. We can do it. We hit 10K. That's good. Let's see if we can hit 15. And then send a few more roses, maybe. Get to, like, 25. But if we reach the goal, then the live gets pushed. So keep doing all the things.
It's a number of different things. It's commenting, it's liking, it's sharing. It's a number of other things. Like, it's all that boosts live engagement. That's the big thing.
Is Solid doing all these shares?
Is that who?
Is it you, Solid, or is it someone else? Oh, thank you for the roses, Izzy. Look at that, 50% there.
I don't think that is Solid.
Fuck, sorry, my phone died.
It's okay.
Oh,
I was
look at
wondering
you.
where you went, but it's good to have you back. But
Well, thanks for
whoever's
the gifts.
spamming those shares, thank you.
I-
Just share it with everyone.
I was literally
Good
about
job.
to jump in and say, oh yeah, I have an appointment I need to get ready for because I have to leave in like 15 minutes. And I completely also forgot. I was like, oh shit, my phone's dying. I need to go upstairs to charge it. And as I was walking upstairs,
It died.
yeah, so I'm just on my iPad right now.
Okay, well, I'm glad that me forgetting my appointment and saying something about it reminded you that you have an appointment. It works out at the end of the day, you know?
It does. Also, you're on Avomeg too. You have chronic
Aimovig,
migraines?
Yeah, I have chronic migraine. Yep.
Oh my god, twinsies!
Yeah.
I don't think that's something you should say twinsies about. I'll be honest. It doesn't sound like a great thing.
We're less alone in it, at least.
Yeah. We're twinsies. We have chronic migraine disorder. Wait, do you have POTS too?
Yeah.
Oh, what? Twinsies!
I actually, until I was on testosterone, I had extremely low blood pressure consistently. And now that I've been on T for over 2 years, I was chronically hypertensive. My systolics were coming back at like 150. So my cardiologist, who's been treating me literally for a decade since I started like losing consciousness and such, who diagnosed me with POTS and NCS and started treating me for both of them. I was like, did you ever think you'd be treating me for hypertension? And he was like, no, I did not. But we know it's because of the T. T can raise your blood pressure and your heart rate. So I'm still on like my beta blockers for my heart rate, but my blood pressure is actually like around 120 to 130 right now, unmedicated, which is good. Obviously, when it was like falling lower than 100 and I was passing out before, you know? So, yeah, I definitely find myself in a little bit of a different boat there. Sorry for the ramble on that.
I'm like all over myself. With my medication, it's still all over, but slightly more manageable. But like I'm on multiple. Thanks.
Solid. I love you. Please mute.
Really,
I'm muting
please.
you.
But yeah, so like, okay, well, fuck, what was I saying? My blood pressure goes all over the place. Some days it'll be fine when I'm standing with my medication, but other days, right, I'll get really faint and my blood pressure will be normal. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. I laid down. Like, this happened once, right? Because this is the only time I actually managed to record it for my doctor, and he just didn't care.
Did you get the heart rate too while that was happening?
Yes, I did.
Okay, was it normal or whack?
It was like 140.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing, right? Here's the thing that made me almost like, I genuinely felt like I was dying. So I put a bed in my car for situations like that. Like,
oh, it was salvage sharing. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, so what I did was I lay down in my car and I immediately felt so much worse. But my my head felt worse. I don't know why. Until I checked my blood pressure while laying down. It was like 170.
Yep. That'll happen.
Yeah, and I was like, I told my doctor this, my heart rate was going down to like, it went down to like 110, 120 while laying down, but my blood pressure was staying around 170 to 160. And I told my doctor this, and he's like, yeah, it's normal. And I'm like, what the fuck? I thought my blood was gonna explode out my veins.
Dude, it is awful having a blood pressure that high and a heart rate. Okay, so when I had to, because they say you shouldn't be on beta blockers when you're getting allergy shot treatments, which I'm getting right now, especially the cluster shots, which I was doing, but I'm done with now. And so I had to get off of atenolol for a little bit, and I didn't have, now I have, it's Corlinor is the brand name, I believe. And it's not a beta blocker, but it lowers your heart rate. And I took that last time, and I had to skip the atenolol, and it didn't go back up. But when I was off it for a while without the Corlinor, I literally took my grandma's trash out for work, which I work at my house. My parents and my grandma and I all live here, and I'm a part-time caretaker for my grandma. So I'm taking the trash outside of my own house, and I walk back in, and I felt like my heart was gonna fucking explode. And I take my heart rate, and it was 157. And I was like, dude, it took over 10 minutes for it to get under 100 sitting down. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, that the Corlinor has helped since then. But yeah, that's not normal. You should have more clarity. I mean, it may be normal depending on how far into your treatment you are, because I had been on those medications consistently for, like I said, about a decade, before now, relatively recently, when I had to get off of my Florinef because I'm hypertensive, and that makes your blood pressure even higher. But yeah, that's at the beginning, I guess it's somewhat normal, but like, yeah, when that's happening, I would say don't put your feet above your head or anything like that. If your blood pressure's already high, you don't want to make it higher in your head. That's not going to feel good. But that's my only suggestion. But yeah, I do know, I've been to a lot of doctors and had access to care that for certain conditions that I have is literally the top in global research on these conditions. So I have access to a lot of resources as well that have helped me to understand what is normal, what's not normal, depending on hormones, the position you're in, the amount of activity you do, how much you've eaten and drank, stuff like that, what you should do in certain scenarios when your blood pressure is high, when it's low, when your heart rate's high, when it's low, things like that. So yeah, it sucks, but sorry I rambled again. I do that a lot. Yeah, I just got a text about my visit that I missed.
You're fine. I'm just genuinely jealous because my care kind of is meh. I'm just on fludrocortisone and Nebivolol, and it helps, but my resting heart rate gets to 30 or 40 BPM. And that's the only way it helps. But my peak still goes to 120. So it feels worse when I hit that, even though my heart rate doesn't go as high as 180, 170 when I'm on it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. When my heart rate was controlled for the longest time, and then it was not controlled, it feels so much worse, even when it's at lower 100s, 110s, 120s area, because I just hadn't experienced it in so long, and so it seems a lot worse than my resting heart rate being in the 60s, sometimes 50s for me as well. But what was the other thing I was gonna say? See, now I forget.
Don't forget.
Oh yeah, okay. So you're on Florinef, or fludrocortisone. They're the same thing, which I used to be on to keep your blood pressure up. and you're on a different beta blocker than I'm on, but you're on a beta blocker, which is good. It sounds like your beta blockers are keeping it within a better range, and you obviously would not want to up it if your resting is getting that low. And that's also why you don't want to take your beta blockers too close to bedtime, because when you're laying down, your heart rate's going to get lower anyways. So usually it's a like morning and afternoon time prescription. And sometimes with things like Forinef, if you take it and then lay down as well, that's when your blood pressure is going to be spiking anyways. So you're going to feel it more in your upper body because you're already laying down. So that also was a morning and evening prescription for me until I was hypertensive. And then they were like, we got to get you off that Florinef, dude, because it's not helping, it's hurting. So yeah, we were on one of the same meds and are on a similar med for our heart rates. So yeah.
For me, it's just a matter of like, even though my stats theoretically, apart from my blood pressure, are fine, it doesn't, I don't feel better. I actually haven't taken my medication in a minute now because I lost my job, so I actually missed my last appointment. I have a new job now, just to clarify. So I'm trying to get a new appointment to get back on my medication because I actually ran out like very, very recently, which is a little scary. But yeah, just even on the medication, I feel like it didn't help as much. It helps, how do I put this? It helped. I haven't fainted since on my medication, but like everything else is about the same. And my low heart rate has caused me to not fully faint, but have really bad presyncope while driving. And I told my doctor this, and he was like, "That's fine."
No, I'm sorry. I'm not a medical professional, okay? But my cardiologist, who is one of the smartest people I know, he's been doing this for decades upon decades. He teaches at the University of Toledo. He is still like, he's technically pediatric, but I'm still like, if you become one of his patients while you're a minor, he'll keep you as a patient as long as you need to be a patient of cardiology, which is great. And at every single appointment, they give you this packet of paperwork to fill out, and he goes over it during the appointment. One of the main things on there is, have you told the BMV about your conditions? Do you get presyncope while driving? Do you know that you can pass out while driving? Basically, don't fucking drive if you're having that experience. If I get presyncope while I'm driving, I pull the fuck over and I get rid of it. First of all. Second of all, if it's a blood pressure related thing, I don't know if your doctor told you this when they prescribed the fludrocortisone, the Florinef. It will not work unless you are drinking enough water and eating enough salt. Because Florinef retains salt, which retains water, which will up your blood volume, which will up your blood pressure. So if you don't have even one of those three things, it's not going to work as well as it should be. And if it's a heart rate related thing, there are different ways to get your heart rate up while you're sitting that I would look into, and making sure that you're using the muscles in your legs to keep that blood flow into the upper part of your body, your heart, your brain, so that the low heart rate isn't causing you to lose that oxygen to the brain, giving you presyncope. Those are my 2 cents. It's definitely important, at least for me to say this for the live audience. If you have presyncope while driving, pull the fuck over until you don't anymore. Or don't drive if it's a consistent thing that you can't get under control. Because you can not only crash and hurt yourself, you can crash and hurt other people. It's just like, don't live and drive, you know? Don't have presyncope and drive. Don't have seizure auras either and drive. It's a safety thing.
Yeah, don't be me. The only reason why I was doing it, and again, this is not an excuse, but I literally had no other option.
I feel you in America, because we all need to be able to get to our doctor's appointments somehow. And not all of us can afford things like Ubers or whatever. But there should be, we have the opportunities for Ohioans with disabilities in Ohio specifically. And yeah, really quickly, everyone should have access. should have access to free rides if they're disabled to get to the doctor's appointments through an organization like Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. So I would say look into that option as well, because you should have that option in your state.
It's also a matter of I live alone and I work.
Yeah, there's that too. And like I have to drive to my doctor's appointments, but like I said, like sometimes I have to pull over and stuff. And I did mention a couple of things that could help. If you're on a medication that requires things like water and salt to function, do that. And there are ways to get your heart rate up and to keep the blood in the upper part of your body when you're driving. So look into those options if you can. If you have to drive, please just have the utmost caution. It is not actually normal or safe.
If you're anything like me, my solution has been to wear compression socks if I'm driving more than like 10 to 15 minutes.
That's a huge help.
It is.
Okay, we do have a guest now, though, too. So,
Sorry.
could I get your age and pronouns, please? I'll invite them to unmute. Hello.
Is it Miriam?
Miriam, can we get your age and pronouns?
Friend, we need age and pronouns. Do you know how to unmute?
Am I a real boy, Papa?
They were unmuted earlier and definitely knew how to speak. It's just
I guess they forgot how to speak.
I'm going to drop you down. I'll invite you back
they
up.
just unmuted on the way out.
Oh.
Did anyone else see that?
I'll invite them back
I saw
up.
that too.
Fucking hell.
Miriam.
نعم أخي بليز هدية قفت مساعدة.
Could I get your age and pronouns, please?
شارك سيمن قاعد بليز قفت.
I don't believe that's English. I'm not
I
sure.
have
if
an
I'm
auditory
reading-
processing disorder, so I can't tell either, but
I feel like that was Arabic.
Wait. You also have an auditory processing disorder? Twinsies.
yeah.
Twinsies!
Hello.
Miriam, did they mute themselves again?
Yeah.
Like,
Are they starting this trend again? Remember that one time everybody joined and then teacupped and then kept doing it? Sorry, not to bring back that memory, but yeah.
That was awful. Like, genuinely awful.
I'm gonna. Well, I guess I have like 10 minutes before I have to actually leave, technically. We'll wait. Give Miriam talk. Milo, you gotta go in the kennel. Come on. I love you, but you do have to go. Good boy! Good boy!
Yeah, I thought so, Salvage.
Okay, stay. Okay, I'm only gonna be gone for about 2 hours, hopefully. My appointment doesn't take long. Okay, Milo? I'm not leaving the house.
I'll be gone by then because I have an appointment then. So.
I'm leaving in like 5 minutes.
Mama, check your messages real quick because you'll see.
I can check them once I'm off the live.
Is that an ODST sound that I just heard?
Maybe.
That's wonderful. The doo-doo-doo.
Don't touch me.
I fucking love ODST. You kidding me?
Yeah, it's my text. That's my text tone. Very
That's
few people
wonderful.
recognize it, but the most who do love it.
ODST's got such a cool like backstory behind it, and how it's got like a story and a sub story that are both like they're both what are you doing, Solid? They've both follows Dante's Inferno. If you've ever looked into it.
بليز هدية قفت حبيبتي ومساعدة بليز شارك سيمن قاعد.
What?
بليز.
It's Arabic. I don't know what they're saying.
بليز هدية.
I don't think it's Arabic. I think it's like Welsh.
I don't know what's going
Welsh,
on.
No, I know that's not Welsh. I can promise you it's not.
Just disconnected them. I don't know what's going on.
I'm pretty sure that was a refugee as well, Stowe.
Oh.
You just...
Racist.
I don't know what they're saying.
Alright, I'm gonna dip though. I have to leave for my appointment like now. Bye.
Bye.
Turn on your camera. Oh. Ow.
Why did you invite me to turn on my... Who did that? No! Stop! Why?
I like you get the worst echo ever by just doing that.
Wow.
What was that?
I guess I'll just leave myself unmuted for y'all's entertainment.
There we go. I wonder why I couldn't do it. I was doing it wrong. I didn't move my throat in the method it's meant to move.
Did you just burp, kid?
No, never.
Solid also burped earlier, and it was a solid burp. Y'all, I went as well. Astrid's done. Just please stop.
I'm sorry.
You know how I threw up before I came on live?
No, I didn't know.
I've thrown up 2 more times now.
Oh my god, stop throwing up.
I can't! I don't know what's happening! There's
Yeah,
nothing left in my stomach to throw up now, though, hopefully. So it won't happen again, ideally.
It'll be bile next. If you've not got anything in your stomach, it'll be bile next.
Oh, no, Pop.
Maybe there already was. Who knows? Because I was throwing up. I haven't eaten anything solid today. And I was throwing up solid, so maybe that's already the case.
Why were you throwing up Solid Snake Kitty? Why did you eat him?
I decided to have a snack last night. I traveled far and wide to find a Solid Snake Kitty snack, and I consumed her.
Excuse me. I'm not a snack. I'm too ugly to be a snack, unfortunately.
Unfortunately for you, we've been over this, and I'm gonna yell affirmations at you until you listen. You're gorgeous. I know this. You need to accept the facts. All right, Solid. Listen here.
That's against TikTok terms and conditions. You're not allowed to be spreading misinformation.
I can play that game too. It's not misinformation. It's factual.
It's
and
misinformation.
you better listen. You
It's
listen here.
misinformation. You're
You
not allowed
listen.
to do that. Stop with that misinformation.
Listen. Facts
I
are
am not
facts.
turning on my camera.
I have proven things. Or these things have been proven to me. You just can't say these things and be in the right. It's not true.
No, it is really true, though. I refuse to turn on my camera for that exact reason. Birds.
You're
actual
gorgeous!
Wait,
I
what's
even
worse
voice
is that...
cracked for you, okay?
Wait.
Listen.
You
A
voice
snack, a meal, an entire 7-serving dinner.
Hey guys, you see, what's funny is that Cole's thing, it doesn't echo as much until you get into the lower register and then it just echoes worse. Why is it always the lower tones that it seems to echo worse on?
I don't know, I just think it's probably because... Okay.
I'm gonna invite Gotcha up.
Oh my god, Gotcha's here, let's invite Gotcha. Oh, Brittler's back.
Wow.
What am I doing with my life?
Come talk about it.
What am I doing with my life, like, actually?
Oh, I should have said to that woman that was up earlier.
You can come up here to talk about it. Gotcha.
Why do you guys want to be a grotesque parody of a woman? I don't want to be. I'm not a grotesque parody of a woman. I'm just a guy. So,
I was trying to get him to come up to get the answer.
What's to talk about? Your bigoted ideas? Because they probably are bigoted, I'll be honest.
Bigoted is an understatement at times, but, you know. Stop rejecting it, Gotcha. I'm going to spam invite you till you stop rejecting it. I hope you know. No, motherfucker, stop rejecting it. I'm watching you reject it.
Do you even think you're speaking to any trans women?
Your dad didn't think I was grotesque. No!
No.
Oh, that's awful sounding. The echo.
Nah, I'm just gonna say, whilst we're waiting for Gotcha to come up.
Gotcha. Do you want to hear from trans women? Because it sounds like you do, and I don't know if you know this, but you're not speaking to trans women. Funny
Thanks
enough.
for the follow. Dysfunctional dairy. How is dairy dysfunctional?
Bro, what? Why did he just put... That's crazy.
Wild. Well, you're here, but you're not on the panel, Griff.
My question is, why is this guy too scared?
Sorry. I don't know. I don't know why he's so scared. Like, he has questions. Just come ask him. You clearly have time, too.
Dysfunctional diary, not dairy. Got it.
Oh my god. I'll actually let it be one-on-one as well. That's the funny thing. I'll literally make it one-on-one. I don't fucking care. It's just, why is he so scared to come up? And get your ass up here.
This is my work. No.
But no one's trying to turn themselves into a grotesque parody.
The only one who's a grotesque parody is your argument.
We've
It's like
literally Gotcha. We gave you the answer. There's no one trying to do that.
the only grotesque parody is your argument. It's like a grotesque parody of an argument.
Hey, Selfish, are you trying to become a grotesque parody?
Sorry, I unmuted too soon, and there was probably... Yeah. No. You're gorgeous. We went over this. Anyways, so another quick mod break. I love you, Solid. You know this. We hit 15k likes. We also hit 100 shares. We're active in the comments. That's good. If you don't know what to say, just put some hearts, some flags, whatever.
Wait.
Share. Tap that screen, get to 20,000 likes, and oh my god, don't do it if you're unmuted. If you're muted, then tap the screen, and then share. Let's get to 125 shares.
You're telling me you want to silence me because I'm just too quick with my fingers? Damn, that's crazy. Apparently my fingers make everything too loud.
Okay, I'm gonna mute so that I can tap.
I like how he Gotcha keeps saying that, like, you know, like they're grotesque parodies, but like nobody hears a trans woman even. Like this is actually just like not even an argument at this point. So it's just like this is all you've got, which I grant is like you probably don't have good arguments because there are no good arguments against trans people.
I mean, Lily Tino is a grotesque parody. Is anyone up here Lily Tino, mate? We're not mind readers. We don't fucking know what someone else
So
thinks.
call a
Go
trans
ask Lily
woman and
Tino.
ask him. That would be misgender. And Gotcha, I hope you understand that that's against TikTok terms of service to intentionally misgender individuals. I just wanted to let you know.
And it is clearly intentional. I mean, you're not hiding it from anyone.
Nah, what do you mean? It's so unintentional. Oh wait, yeah, I forgot I'm having my foot-long sausage wrapped in bacon cooking at the moment. I'm not even joking.
Granted, they
Like,
have a foot-long
Massive pig in a
sausage.
blanket.
No.
Yeah, I'm cooking well, it's actually bigger than a foot long, and it's wrapped in bacon.
Gotcha.
Then I'm
What's
having potato
misgendering?
waffles with it. What's misgendering? It's where you don't gender someone correctly. That's kind of the point of the prefix miss, put with the word gendering. Wow, crazy shit.
Rachel Levine is not even a grotesque parody. It's a lover parody. Yeah, I don't even know who this person is. I don't care
Bro, what is
about.
going on? Hey,
Exactly.
Coco,
Again,
Coco.
none of us up here are that person.
Nah, why
So
is
who do you
Coco
think you're
here?
talking to, and what do you think you're even talking about at this point?
I have a profound lack of understanding of popular trans people, which is kind of a good and a bad thing, because like I just don't know what to say about these people. So like I just don't speak about them on purpose, because like I don't know who. Is he shadow boxing? Yeah, exactly. I'm not trans, no. Gotcha. It's almost like people don't have to be part of a minority to support a minority.
Also, none of us up here, gotcha, none of us are trans women. Isn't that crazy? None of us currently up on this panel are hosting the live are trans women, to my knowledge.
Nah, like I'm just like so trans that I'm just cis.
You did the whole circle. He came back around. It's not a spectrum, it's a circle.
I'm EP and it's everyone's fault.
Did you sleep at night?
Yeah.
Enough?
I fell asleep at 8, woke up at 5.
That's a rarity.
What time is it now?
104.
Oh, it's our fault. I guess. You should I don't know, drink some coffee. What were you gonna say, Solid?
I said 1. That's a rarity for salvage, and 2. How the fuck did your echo get worse, Cole?
I turned up my volume is probably why.
Oh, okay.
It's probably
Well,
not as bad now.
I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go get that big, massive hunk of meat and then start, like, fucking shoving it down my throat.
Enjoy.
Down my gullet. So if you give me a minute, I'll be back with it.
We don't have answers.
wait,
You don't have questions. What questions are you wanting to know answers of? Got ya. Like if you have good, actual genuine questions, ask them. But I haven't seen anything that's like.
Ask them up here. We can discuss like adults.
Oh, by the way, I've been watching the Netflix series Ragnarok. Pretty neat. It is originally in Norwegian though, so it is just English subbing or dubbing.
Have you seen? Speaking of English dubbing, have you seen Dark?
I've seen it, haven't watched it.
You have to watch Dark. It is so good. My dad convinced me to watch it, and I hate when things are dubbed in English because it makes my APD even worse when I can't like read lips all the time too. It bothered me at first, but I got so into it. It's such a good show. It's so worth the watch.
Did you see the Hector Salamanca YouTube short thing that I sent?
Yes, I did.
They're dating us like dogs. Strokes out. Hector was such a great character.
Pretty solid character, yeah.
What do you describe lipo to these are like some bottom of the barrel arguments. Like anorexia is clearly like
that's just ableist. You can't relate something like an eating disorder to
being trans is
So
not
something
a
like being trans, exactly.
so we know how to treat anorexia. We also know how to treat gender dysphoria. They require very different things because it's almost like they're different disorders. Wow. Also, just for clarification, being trans in itself is not a disorder. It's very explicitly said in the DSM-5 along with the ICD-11. And anorexia identifies as big, so no. Anorexia people think that they're overweight and then they need to lose weight. It's also I'm actually not entirely sure about what the background of anorexia is.
Yeah, and now we're kind of getting into the intersection of body dysmorphia. That would be more accurate if you said somebody with body dysmorphia believed that that's actually what that particular diagnosis addresses. But being anorexic just means that you restrict your diet.
Yeah, and people who have anorexia. So there's some people who that might actually have anorexia that theoretically could still be a healthy weight. It is possible that people could
100%.
even be overweight and have anorexia. It's the part of anorexia is
Very
that
common, actually.
no, so it's based off of personal weight history. It is possible to actually have actually eat normally and have a healthy body weight and still have anorexia. That is causing a problem. It's just that it's not causing it's not leading to problems. If you do leave it untreated, weight loss can get to a point where there's actual physical issues, but
even before then, you are being malnourished, even if you're not quote unquote underweight, skinny, whatever that terminology would be, dependent on the setting.
Yeah, you typically would be.
They're giving the criteria of a completely different thing. They're giving the criteria of a psychological condition that causes the person affected to it perceive themselves as being extremely overweight and then starve themselves because of it, trying to lose weight that they don't actually have.
You're describing body dysmorphia, which I talked about earlier. Exactly my point. That's what he's describing, not anorexia.
Yeah, it's a body dysmorphic disorder. What do they even say for what is the treatments that they say? CBT, exposure therapy, hypnotherapy, medications.
All in all, the point is it's not comparable to being trans or body dysphoria, even gender dysphoria, what I meant to say. So why don't we stay on topic and then you can ask some questions. But also, I'm going to invite you up again. It's really ridiculous. You've got the time. You've got the energy. Just come have a conversation like adults. Come on.
Yeah, so the big difference in between here is that we understand that if we just let people starve themselves, it leads to bad outcomes. Similarly, if we just let people live their lives a non-authentic life and try to force them into a box, it leads to bad outcomes. So no, you can say that they're the same thing, same fantasy, but in reality the treatment options are very different. We understand
he'd have to hold that every biopsychosocial schema is fantasy. That's wild.
False equivalency final boss in chat right now. Yeah, basically. We have 1, 2. Do we have anybody in? Nope. Twitch chat and YouTube chat are dead. Nah. I mean, what's the difference? This is just what normally happens, but so gotcha. Like people who are trans, they're very aware of their biological realities. They understand what they have in their pants. They're not like denying that they have a penis or like, you know, they're very aware of these things. They're not trying to say that they don't have these things. It's so that it causes them discomfort, or you know they don't align with the sex that they were assigned with at birth. That's what it is. Well, so like it seems that you so fundamentally misunderstand trans people that it's like problematic. Like I don't think that you even understand what trans people are. That like you can't even create a reasonable argument because you don't understand them in the first place. It's not even like thinking that you are something else. It's actually based off of like the internal sense of self. This is people being trans is a natural expectation under the wide variety of human identity. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, even if it is like some sort of fantasy, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad.
Absolutely. Thank you, Izzy and Lung Failure, for liking the live.
I tend to also, I mean, I try to stay away from like saying that these things are fantasies, because it's like that just stigmatizes trans people, and there's other ways you can go about it. That like, I would say that like fantasies are like fall under completely different things, than what I would say like transgender individuals experience. Like it is a very different experiential thing, saying that you identify as one thing versus, you know, knowing that you're, you know, like it'd be fantasy if I said that I'm a unicorn, because like you're not even a horse in the first place, and like there's some very clear differences between a human and a horse that just make it physically impossible. Identifying within a social schema is completely possible. No, I wouldn't prescribe bleaching your skin to somebody who wants to be change the color of their skin. That would be like the only there's a number of conditions where like you lose pigmentation in your skin, and sometimes it can help just like even out your skin, but that's like a completely different thing.
Absolutely. And I don't even talk about race when we're talking about the trans topic specifically, because people will be like, well, if I'm transracial, then blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, transracial is a term within the adoptee community, and that is an entirely different topic and debate. And we don't want to end up conflating the two, or only speaking on one when another should be spoken on when things like that are brought up. Being transracial in the way that you're trying to represent it is just simply not a thing, because of rape being a social construct based on phenotype. And
it's based off genetics, almost entirely.
Well, that's what gives you your phenotype. And it's typically, you know, based off of what you can see, which is why I say that as well. Whereas gender is a biopsychosocial schema, and you can't really relate those things. It's just non-analogous. That's the symmetry breaker. And other than that, I don't speak on it for that reason specifically.
Yeah, you could be like you could identify with a different culture, but I don't think you could identify with a different race, because race is like
absolutely.
When people say that they might feel a certain way, like it might be some sort of like body dysmorphia where they feel uncomfortable with the color of their skin, and that I can like maybe understand, but it's not like.
Yeah, we get into colorism at that point too, and
Yeah.
that's just a whole nother discussion as well.
And like it's just not something I like. They could very well be that people, you know, might feel like they might feel more comfortable if they had a different skin color. It's just not something I'm informed enough to speak of to say that this is something that actually exists and that like medically would treatment would be to help out with that. This is a completely different topic, and it's if there is like a medical consensus on this, that's a different thing. It's very clear that there is a medical consensus about how we treat transgender individuals, and how to help things with gender dysphoria. Like the way to treat gender dysphoria is with affirmative care.
Basically, we're gonna follow prescribed like medical advice, which for trans people, with the research done, we know what leads to the best outcomes for trans people. Therefore, the recommended treatment is for them to get gender affirming care. Whereas if somebody were to be in another situation, that care that's suggested by professionals isn't necessarily going to be the same, which is why we don't conflate them in that way. We just say, no matter what, we're going to listen to medical professionals.
Astrid. When you load in.
It's a wild Astrid trying to load in.
Busin, you know it.
Hey, as I said, that shit. There we go. Foot long.
God damn. That's definitely over a foot.
It's a cinnamon roll, but sausage.
It's bigger than a cinnamon roll. It's a fucking pinwheel of sausage wrapped in bacon.
Wonderful. I need to get a wonderful
with potato waffles. You can't forget the
potato waffles.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like fries, but
I was about to say it's like a French fry, but
you mean
a
waffle fries?
Fry, but yeah, but like a weird version of a waffle fry.
It's called a potato waffle. There's a difference. Waffle fries are slightly different. Usually thinner and less it's structured, but it's a lot thinner and it's a lot less angular shaped than potato waffles. Still good though.
You know something we need to change about society? We need to make society less structured about being diurnal. Or if you don't know biology terms like this, it's being awake during the day.
Yeah, naps are important, and some societies actually are structured around that.
Not just that, we also need to have some sort of... Because humans are one of the rare cases where the entire species isn't strictly diurnal or nocturnal. Humans actually vary from individual to individual. So some people will have their internal clock set for their awake cycle to be during the night. And society just completely disregards those individuals, such as myself.
Yeah, should I just unravel this pinwheel and just start shoving over?
I don't know, but also, Astrid, I don't know what's happening either.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem like opposition's coming. Hello, opposition. You there? You want to join? Glug. You think you bully gotcha away? Let's see. Are they still in the comments? No, they ran. They're gone. I think. Poof.
Hi, Ashlyn. I didn't know you were here. What's up?
Ashland's been lurking this entire time.
He was annoying. Don't. It's not your bad. It's your good. Thank you, Izzy. We just subtly hear Solid Snake Kitty deep throating a giant sausage wrapped in bacon
Oh
in
god,
the
why did you have
background.
to say that?
I think it's working now.
Because it's what's happening, I guarantee you.
We can hear you, Astrid.
Hi, you made it up. Yay.
Trials and tribulations. What's up?
What's that?
What's up?
Okay, cool. Snake, I can't take that. No,
Yes, Astrid. I knew that was coming.
You know me too well.
I'm gonna have to mute you. Solid, this is...
Oh my god. My auntie gave me a bunch of her old earrings. Look at this.
Cute.
They're like dragonfly wings.
I'm not the only one with an echo now.
I have an echo? Dang it.
I think.
It's hit miss on when people echo.
Did that echo?
No, like when I talk, when you're unmuted, it was echoing, but now it's not. So that's good.
Not now. I just got a new tablet.
Cool. And the earrings are very pretty, by the way. There's the echo again. Fuck.
Yeah, that was a pretty brutal echo. Okay, Snake, I have to mute you.
In the best
I'm
way.
muting you. I can't.
You've lost mic privileges.
No, you're staying muted. Like, it's fine usually, but the...
Apparently the gooning is too much.
No gooning allowed. Connie will beat us.
Yeah,
Hey, what was wrong?
Griff's oh, I shouldn't say that on live.
What's wrong?
What do you mean by what's wrong? It's the little gulps that are... They're a little weird sounding. No, stop.
Hey, what's wrong with?
I'm just
By
gonna...
the way, I was taking the piss. That was me. I was doing that purposely while
Look.
eating it. I could eat it the whole time without gulping. I was just doing that to eat the piss. Oh no, you don't have to worry about it anymore. I've basically finished it.
Good.
This device hasn't had a system update in more than 23 months. Oh, this better not take like 2 hours.
What device is it? Like a laptop or?
It's an ONN tablet.
Oh.
Oh, it just needs to restart. Okay, we're good.
Sometimes
I keep breaking all my tablets, so I don't have anything to read like as an audio or an ebook.
Read a real book.
I do read real books, but I can't afford
all the books I want to read.
Fair.
And I hate reading on my phone.
Is it bad that I already finished all of it?
No, not necessarily.
Riley, did you just meow? Oh, sorry. I'm unmuted.
Also, I think I underestimated it. I thought it'd only be a foot long pinwheel. It was definitely much longer than that.
Not as big as my dick.
No.
I was waiting for that joke the whole time. I was joking on deep throating the entire sausage at once.
This has become goon chat. I am uncomfortable.
Honestly, my brain just like entered that realm of interacting because you're all friendlies, and that's kind of where things were going, and now I just can't switch back to like behave like an adult.
Hey, to be fair, it was good. You can't tell me that
It was.
you wouldn't enjoy eating a shit ton of a sausage wrapped in bacon, unless you're vegetarian or vegan, of course. But you know, no gooning. Damn, that's crazy.
I might end stream because it doesn't seem like we're going to get any more friendlies, and our viewer count has peaked. It seems.
Damn.
Can we have like 3 minutes of unfettered gooning, please?
Oh, unfettered, okay.
No.
Wait, 3 minutes of gooning.
What have I done?